this computer. There we go. All right, we're underway. It's Booze and Biz episode 4. All right, we're now live on Facebook. Let me mute Facebook because it's super confusing to hear myself talk. And I'm going to put in the join the Zoom. And then we do shortcut is Booze and Biz space. Boom. All right, now let me see if I can share this with groups real quick. So for those of you that don't know, never hung with us before, never partied on a Wednesday night. I know it's a weird thing to do, party on a Wednesday night. But I don't know, it felt right, you know what I mean? I'm an entrepreneur. I get to do whatever I want. So I decided I want to drink some beers with you guys on a Wednesday night. I'm going to share to the Party Rental Knowledge group. We got people coming in the room here, so I'm letting them all in while sharing the groups, while running lives all over the universe. So we're just going to type in, the wrong thing. Type in, I raised my chair for this, right? So I look better on the camera. And so typing is super hard because my keyboard's really far away. Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Can I go see my drip bike?
Yeah, just make sure your friends aren't chilling in the house.
They're here.
Well, you got to kick them out.
Right.
What's up, Nick?
What up? What up? Oh, we're looking good. I'm going to share to one more Facebook group. I'm going to share to Jana's Facebook group just because Jana's a great person and she does a lot of good for the industry. And I like to give back to her peeps. Booze and Biz episode 4. So I was all planned out to like record this, right? So the recording that's going on right now is what makes its way over to YouTube. I had it all planned out to where it was going to be smooth. When I hit the record button, I'd be like ready to go so YouTube wouldn't have to watch all the boring shit. And I jacked it up again for the 4th week in a row. I promise you though, I will get the hang. I'll get the hang of the Zoom, live, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere thing. I'll get the hang of it, man. I'm a smart guy. All right, we got John coming in. All right, and then I'm also going to put in the chat here on the Zoom, ask any questions you want. If I could type, dude. I really can't type. Definitely can't type live. All right, there we go. We are underway, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Instagram, how you guys looking? You guys looking good over there. Instagram, you guys can also holler in the comments if you want. Drop any questions. I'll answer 99% of any question that comes through Instagram. So I got to give Instagram some love because even though I suck at Instagram, it's still one of my favorite platforms. And all right, dudes and dudettes, we are underway. So this is Booze and Biz. I already opened my beer. I was kind of pre-gaming, so I'm on beer number like 1.1 here. But this is Booze and Biz. We basically talk some business, drink some drinks. Nothing's off the table as far as drinks go and as far as topics go. Basically, the show was born out of, Jana, Tariq, the Event Hawk folks. They do a lot of cool, super cool lives, roundtables as they call them, or they do some that are niche or topicked. They're really good stuff. I enjoy them very much. Actually, Tariq has one tonight at 8, so in 2 hours. That's going to be about how to survive the off season. I'm excited. I plan on being on that one. So if we can end this one at 8, we can jump right into Tariq's. That would be super dope. If not, it is what it is, and we will. I'll jump into Tariq's late. But anyways, yeah. So this was born out of we were doing one of those roundtables and went well into the night, way past my bedtime. And somebody that was on it, said we should do a beer and wine hour. I'm like, oh hell yeah, that sounds like my kind of meeting. So I low key just posted, on Facebook like a super random post where I just said, thinking about doing a show where we just drink beers and talk about business. And the post went like as viral as like a regular post can go, right? No video on or anything. And it was super, super awesome. So I said, screw it. We launched the show 1 week later. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but I just like to get on camera and talk to people and answer questions and drink some beers. So cheers to all of you guys out there. Booze and Biz episode 4. Let's get rolling. Before I start talking about all the crap that I have written down, which I came well prepared this week, I'd like to open it up just to see if there's anybody out there that's got questions off the jump. There's already one. Justin Dodson already asked one in the Facebook chat there. But if you guys have any questions, you can unmute if you're on Zoom. If you're not on Zoom, you can jump in the Zoom, ask questions. You can type questions in the chats on Instagram, on Facebook, or on Zoom. But I like to open up to you guys first, right? Because I do this to help other people. So I don't want to take up all your time talking about crap I want to talk about. So do you guys have any questions? Rock and roll. While you guys get up
I have a question.
Yeah, holler. What's up?
Hey, this is Paulina from Outside Jumpers. So, and we're in North Carolina. How did you find like the best fit for employees? Because we're having like a hell of a time finding employees, and we're at like this standstill where we need to like take the next step, but we can't. And like we have to almost like either downgrade, or I don't know if that makes sense. Like we either have to downgrade or we have to figure out something else, but like people are super unreliable, and I don't know how to like get just decent people, period.
So,
like, well,
right. Everybody's ambitions are different, right? So I don't want to project onto you, but for me personally, to downgrade is to die. Like,
no, that's where we're.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's one of my favorite topics, right? And so I have a background. I worked in retail-based sales for 16 years, but I was a district manager for 9 of those 16. And so in that world, right, I was overseeing up to 25 stores at a time, all across between 3 to 4 states. And so in that world, having people ready to go was the name of the game, right? So I kind of came into entrepreneur land like with a leg up in that department. Yeah. Which when you're new and scaling and small, like doesn't matter, right? And I missed that part of my old job. It's like the only thing I missed was the people part until the businesses started to grow and I started hiring. And then we took off like wildfire because I knew how to do that. So to answer your question, and this will probably be a long answer. So interrupt me if you want to ask any sub questions while I'm talking here. Okay. So the number one thing you're going to want to do is always be recruiting. Okay. And that doesn't mean you're going to the grocery store and telling the checkout guy or the bagger, right, that, yeah. So yeah. You're not giving the Outside Jumpers card to every waiter, right? But what you do is, let's see, I'm a better storyteller. So I'll tell you kind of how I did it. So I started looking, right, and you can go post on Craigslist, which costs money now, so I don't do. You can post on Facebook for free. There's like a jobs section. I've experienced nothing but garbage that's come through that, right? But an interview's an interview, so I'll take it. And then I've tested Indeed. I've tested all those, but just marginal, right? Because I'm a people person. So then what I started doing was, while I was doing all that, I started talking to everyone that I knew that knew people, right? And what you got to do is you got to remember that you got to speak to the correct audience. So the person that you're talking to, if they know just a boatload of people, you can come across, I don't want to say a little more desperate, but you can be a little more pushy when you talk to them, like, hey, we're freaking dying. I need to grow, but I need people. I know you're the mayor of this freaking town. Who do you know that would be good that works for me, right? They don't know anybody. They never know anybody. So you say, right. Okay, new question, right? And you just keep reframing the same question to kind of jog their brain. So you say, okay, who do you know that has a son that played football but blew his knee out, right? And you start going down those specific things, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, the lacrosse kid. And you're like, who's the lacrosse kid? Yeah, they're like, it's Christian, and he's whatever. So then they tell you about him, and you go, yes, that sounds amazing. Okay, now then here's the number one mistake everybody makes. Give Christian my phone number. Christian's never gonna call you. You don't go to the bar and pick up a hot chick and give her your number, because she ain't ever gonna call you. You get her number. So so you need to get Christian's mom's number, Christian's dad's number, or Christian's number, right?
Yeah. So now follow up to that, right? So you have Christian, like you're good, you're fine, everything's good. What tools do you provide Christian? Or do you have Christian bring his own tools, like the trailer. Does he bring his own trailer? Like in the beginning, right? Because we're still like, we're inching on the incline. Did you provide the trailer or did Christian bring his own trailer? Like, did he bring his dad's trailer? Like, how did you do that in the beginning?
So this conversation gets into very gray waters, which are my favorite waters, right? I'm gray. So you do what you got to do.
Right.
Just to be frank, right? Now, you're probably going to 1099 him in the beginning because it's your only employee. Like, you shouldn't, right? Because the 1099 person is not an employee. A 1099 person is a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're that small, it's like, right, everybody 1099. And so if you're going to 1099, then by definition, they should bring their own stuff.
Okay.
But a lot of, right, they're not going to have it. So, or to put it even more frankly, the person you can afford doesn't have their own truck and their own trailer, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I basically, the way I did it was I hired Tyler, right? Well, I had some people that worked for me, right? But fast forward to the era of now, I hired Tyler, and Tyler rode with me, right? Rode shotgun with me on the deliveries, and I trained him. Through Tyler, I then recruited Ethan, who was older. Again, he drove a little small Mercedes car, so he drove my stuff. But then I trained Ethan to drive. Then Ethan and Tyler can go on their own, and you send them to go do small stuff, easy stuff, or maybe 2 big ones, but only 2, right?
Right.
You take the brunt of the load, and you kind of grow like that. But it's kind of like I said, the notion that you're going to be able to afford somebody with a truck and a trailer is tough to swallow. Now, I do have I have 2 guys now that are young and have their own truck and their own trailer that, right, by luck and happenstance. Actually, no, Isaiah does have his own trailer. But Trevor has his own truck and trailer, and then Isaiah has a truck, right? So he can use his truck and my trailer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right,
okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically what you got to do though is just have that conversation with your hairdresser, then have that conversation with, the bartender at the bar that you go to on your regular, everybody you have a connection with. Like there's good ass inflatable employees out there. Tons of them, millions and billions of them.
Yeah.
You just haven't found them yet, right?
Yeah.
Then once you find them, the game then changes to let's keep them, which is a whole different ball game, whole different conversation. But so number one is always be recruiting, right? Have that conversation just as many times as you can with the correct context for the person you're talking to. Okay. Once you start getting some names, getting some phone numbers, text them, don't call them, right? The era of phone calls is over. Just text them. And then once you start that conversation with them via text, interview every single one of them, right? Okay. I'm not saying you need to show up in a freaking pantsuit, right, with a briefcase, but show up with intentions to interview them. It sets the stage from jump that this is not some rinky-dink little, right, fly-by-night mom and pop. This is a business that, while it may be in its infancy or it may be small, you are dead serious about. The interview separates, right? Turns it from, like, if you do hire them, they come on ready to work a job instead of like, cool, ready to hang out.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yep. If you don't know how to interview, right, that's a skill that I honed. I'm obsessed with interviewing. I love it. So I honed that over the 16 years that I worked at Journeys. But if you don't know how to interview, just do whatever it takes to educate yourself how to interview, right? Whether that's YouTube videos. I have one YouTube video about that on my YouTube channel, whether that's blog posts, whether that's reading books, whatever. Just get some sort of education so you can kind of develop an interview style that's, decent. Never hire anybody in the interview. And then once you hire them, make a hiring offer, tell them they work whatever on their Saturday at 7, right? Give them hard deadlines, both to set the expectations and then also to make sure that they're hitting those expectations, right?
Right.
Yep. And then that little process never ends. You're just always But once you have the Christian, the lacrosse kid, once you have your Christian, then you just treat him well. He's not going to bring you anybody at first, right? Because he doesn't know you, he doesn't trust you, he doesn't whatever. Once you build up the trust with him, treat him right, get to know him, figure out what his goals in life are, and then help him, move towards those goals, then he'll start to bring you his friends. That's when things, right? Because as soon as he brings one friend on, the number of people that kid knows outside of the people that the first kid knows is bigger, right? And it can grow quickly. You do got to be careful hiring friends, right? Somebody's going to crucify me somewhere in the comments on that.
Yeah.
But if you run it correctly, I mean, so like I got Tyler and Ethan, they're both friends, okay? And then that kind of ends at their friend group. Alex worked with us for a little bit, who's friends with Ethan, but he's since left. But then it went Jacob, Isaiah, Logan, Travis, Trevor, and Josh. Like those 6 are all like tight.
Yeah.
Right?
And
but
it was like professional. It was okay with everything. Okay, good. That's awesome.
Yep. I interviewed every single one of them. Hey, my buddy Josh. I said, well, let me interview him. Right. My buddy Trevor actually got an interview in the truck because I was like low key desperate. We were so busy. It was right when I got Event Hawk and everything. So I was like, holy shit. I said, yeah, he's going to ride with me on Saturday. That's his interview. But I loved him. Right. He does an amazing job. And then I don't ever manage them as a group of friends. Like I manage each one individually. Like we have a big group chat, right? But like I don't say, hey, you tell him to do, like, right? I can send some small messages through the grapevine, no problem, right? Because they know each other. But I really make an effort to manage each of them individually because I know they're all friends. And so if it blows up in my face, the whole company blows up in my face because that's 6 of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So when did you know when to let them go? Like, were you just like, all right, man, like chill and grill, we'll see how it goes? Or were you like, okay, we're going to ride together? And then because I'm super micromanaging, but he's not micromanaging. And then my husband's super chill. Yeah, it's Nick. He's super chill. So I'm just like, what do we do? Do we let him flex up?
I'm opposite of micromanage. I'm very macro. I'm very big picture. I'm very trust. I'm very I trust everybody off jump. Like you don't got to earn it. You come in with it, and then if you screw it up, it goes away, right? Okay. That being said, it just kind of depends. So a good story. So almost my entire company was built for my wife, who owns a hair salon, right? Because I'm like, more moms than anybody, right? And she does my wife is a badass, super personable, right? And had recruited in her past life too. So they all came from her. So when I started getting the good kids that came in, it all depended. I mean, Jacob literally ran the entire company while we were doing lights. Like last year, the lights business took off, but the jump off stayed busy. Way busier than I ever thought we could possibly be through the winter. And I couldn't be in 2 places at once. Yeah. Jacob almost single-handedly ran everything. I still talk to the clients, made the drop list, and then just texted to him. He did everything from there. Who rode in the truck, what time we're picking up, right? He did all that. When Jacob started, I was low-key worried that he wouldn't make it. He was having a hard time rolling the slides. He was just frustrated. He was a very smart person, but physically, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if he's going to get this. He still can't roll a combo. Yeah. But we stayed with it. And then next thing you know, I'm a big fan of having them work with different people all the time. So if Jacob's not getting it, sticking him with me every single day is clearly not working. So then I had him go with Ethan. Then I had him go, and then I would say, all right, bro. Because I taught him how to drive the truck and trailer quickly, right? Because he's smart. So then I could stick Tyler in the truck with him, and that's really when he blossomed. Because he really just needed kind of the push out there and the trust, you know what I mean? Yeah. And from there, I'll say this, there's never a time where you really feel comfortable. Okay. And then do you send them in pairs? You have them buddied, but do you have them buddied because your group is younger?
or do you naturally want everyone with a buddy?
It just depends on the season. So we'll start running solo routes once water slide season's over.
Yeah.
It's not as busy, and then you're sending bounce houses to combos. One person can do that. You know what I mean? You're gonna have 4 slides on one truck. You're not on a time crunch, and they're all light and easy. So it's kind of like, right. And then we're doing Christmas lights potentially. So it's like I'm stealing all those guys to come into the other business. So we run it lean for that reason too. Right now I run them 2 just because the slides are big and heavy and shit can fall over. It's so much easier running it with 2 people on it during water slide season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. And then last question, are you an LLC or an S corp?
So technically we're both, but so LLC is the legal, and then S corp is how you file taxes. So I'm both of those.
Okay.
So we just switched to S corp this year, and that's something that is, my CPA said we need to do, and right. So then at that point, right, my post, I don't know if you saw my post today, my little video post I made, but at that was the point where I was like, oh, I'm a businessman. Yeah. Yeah. That's where it changed, where I was like, oh yeah, like this is like, not that it's not fun anymore, but like we're not building the tree house anymore, right? It's like, oh yeah, this is legal. This is stuff that now I'm on salary, and it's the whole thing changes. But the S corp is going to be very good to mitigate the tax liability, just because it took off so fast last year, and I guess this is my fault for not communicating with my CPA that it took off as fast. I mean, I got crushed in taxes. You get double taxed as an LLC when you're earning a lot, right? When your write-offs aren't canceling it all out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
We'll be here hanging out with you guys.
All right. Let's see what we got going on. Anybody else got a question they want to jump in and ask before I get into stuff? And what's funny is I had written down that I wanted to cover all that hiring stuff too. So, all right. The Hanks said he'll have some questions later. Usually nobody's got questions until like beer number 2.5. So that's cool. All right. What's going on over here on Instagram? Oh, Jacob's on the Instagram. What up, Jacob? Yes, bro. That winter season was a trip. It was. I mean, you saved our lives, dude. You saved our lives. You ran the whole freaking company. You were like the hero.
Hey, I apologize for not responding.
All right, I'm gonna jump over here into the comments on Facebook and see what we got cracking over here. So Justin Dodson asked, at what month of the year does it really slow down for you? Good question. This is kind of gonna be shocking, maybe, but August, it really does. Slows down in August. The reason that happens is because we're not doing anything right now in Louisiana. You know that, right? Wait, hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can.
Right now?
No, in a little bit.
You guys are going inside in a little bit though. It's your summer camp tomorrow.
Hey, outside jumpers, will you mute?
Oh, hang on. Sorry, what was that?
Will you mute?
Yeah, I was. My bad.
Thank you. So yeah, we actually slow down in August, believe it or not, which is, I know, kind of sounds like a trip because it's still summer and water slides are king, but we have a really early season here to where school lets out like second week of May. And so May is unreal. June is just almost as unreal. Obviously, July is plenty busy because of the 4th of July, and then it stays rolling. But school's already started. So school started like August 6th, I think, this year. So school's already back in. So we have already started to slow down in August. We still have water slides going out, right, which are the big ticket items. So we're still doing good revenue, but it's just not as crazy busy. Weekday rentals are done, right, because school started. We actually do really well in September because the temperature comes down to where we'll double dip. We'll rent water slides and dry stuff. So all bounce houses will go, all dry combos will go, and all water slides potentially could go. So we stay. So revenue-wise, September's pretty good. And then October, you start to see a dip. And then as soon as the temperature, and this usually happens late September, there will be like a cold front that comes through, cold front. where it drops to like 74 degrees, 72 degrees. And that day kills water slides. They never come back. Like it's over. We dry them all out. We store them for the winter. We do all that fun stuff. And that kicks off dry season, and that downshifts revenue big time. Units going out is similar, right? But the combo is so much faster to set up than a water slide. So much easier to do. Payroll's lower because it's one-man shows. Like it's good stuff. And then November, another dip down. Stay busy through Thanksgiving. December, another dip down, and then January is mega slow, and then we start ramping back up in February. So we have a pretty long season here. We'll start sending water slides sometimes end of March. Kind of depends on the weather, but for the jump up, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Nick,
yeah. What's up?
with hiring or not hiring, but having your staff, do you offer any type of benefits? Or I mean, I know it's kind of more, the LLC, and I hear you're venturing off or whatever, but whatever, I know you pay them pretty good, but what all kind of comes with, I mean, what do you offer them?
So right now I'm working with we're not quite there yet. Hopefully we can get this kicked off early next year, probably. But I'm working with my finance manager, not my CPA, my finance manager, to get offered basically a 401k, like a retirement. And I
Oh, okay.
if I remember off the top of my head, I really do think it is a 401k that I'll be able to offer. And then from there, I can do whatever I want, right? So I can match their contributions, whatever. But then it goes into the 401k. Jared manages that account. It's invested and blah, 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 right? Kind of like a normal retirement.
Yeah, I get like a retirement stuff like that. It's kind of, a long scale. I was meant as far as like I didn't know if maybe you let them rent water slides, for discounted or anything like that.
Yep, definitely. So if they've got a family party or whatever, I'll give them a super big discount. And then basically what I tell them, look, you go to the warehouse, you load it up, you take it over there, you blow it up, you do all the work, you clean it, you roll it back up, and you bring it back to the warehouse.
Yeah.
And then I'll give them a smoking deal. If it's a Saturday, right, it's tough because that slide during peak season will make its full amount. But when they're doing that for their own party, like I don't have payroll costs, right? Because I'm not paying them to do that. I don't have payroll costs, right? So I just kind of it depends on the situation. I would say that, but yes, definitely give them a deal. Definitely give them as best as I can for sure, right? And if it's their cousin's party, it's like cool, dude, I'll give you $50 off, right? If it's their like little sister's party, right, we'll do better. It just kind of depends on the situation.
Okay, and what kind of like liabilities and insurance and stuff like that comes with having employees?
So if you're 1099ing them, really nothing. Yeah, really nothing. And I'm not like, a lawyer, right? So
Yeah.
so don't quote me on all of this. But when you're 1099, they're private contractors, they're not employees. So you don't, right? You don't really
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, you see,
yeah, go ahead.
I just wasn't sure because I'm running solo right now. I might have someone help me here and there or whatever, but I'm still kind of starting up. So I didn't know as far as like actually getting more of a full-time employee how that would work as far as getting like their tax and stuff set up. I didn't know if it kind of fell on you or you just tell them, hey, pay your taxes or whatever, and then you put them on. But then I don't want to mess anybody else up and put them on when they ain't doing their their stuff right. I want to be able to teach them.
So even if you 1099 them, like you still have responsibilities, right? And so as the leader of the company, I like to try and take every responsibility that there is and put it on me, right? And so but you have to record how much you paid them, report, do this through an accountant and or CPA. But then the accountant files the 1099 or the W-2, I don't remember, with the IRS that says we paid Joey $1,000 this year. Then the IRS then sends Joey his tax, the tax bill after you file your business taxes. That's how 1099 roughly works. Okay. And I'm totally shooting from the hip here. So if somebody else is more educated on this, jump in. But once you switch to W-2, that is a whole different, monster in and of itself. So once you switch to W-2, you start paying half of their taxes essentially, right? So you're paying X% of Social Security, X% of the federal, X% of the state, to where it comes out to be about you're paying half their taxes, and you pay that in every payroll installment, right? So the tax liability on my last payroll, which was a pretty good sized payroll because we were busy, but was like $1,100, right? And I got a lot of guys, and they're doing good work, but as soon as you switch to W-2, you now have expenses that come in, okay? Once you have W-2 employees, that's the first time you have employees. As 1099s, they're not employees, they're contractors, private contractors, okay? A W-2 is an employee. So at that point, you then now have to carry workers' comp.
Yeah.
So you are liable for them, right? And you are liable for covering them under your workers' comp policy. Mine ranges, trying to remember all of this off the top of my head. I think mine ranges depending on how much. No. It's a set amount per month. I think it's like $200 a month, $209 a month, something like that. It's not some crazy amount of money, right? But it all starts to add up when you got to pay half their taxes. You got to pay, the unemployment, all that. I'm trying to remember this. Yeah, so it adds up quick to where all of a sudden you're talking. I paid almost $1,200 last payroll. Just that's for a 2-week payroll and all of that stuff, right? But that all being said, once you get big, like all those extra expenses are also help mitigate tax liability, right? So it's kind of I don't know, it's a game that like my companies grew pretty quickly and then went, and so I'm just now hit that crazy growth spurt. So I'm still learning all of those avenues, right? I'll be much better at this conversation in a year. Let's see. I got a good question over here on Instagram I want to answer. So Let's Bounce Texas. What up, Let's Bounce Texas? They asked, when do you suggest I bring in a finance guy? Okay, so that's a good question for a couple of reasons. It's a good question because, in my opinion, like ASAP, I just grabbed a warm beer, I think. No, we're good. Like ASAP. Now, you don't bring the finance guy in for your company. You bring the finance guy in for you. Once your company then grows to a necessary size, your finance manager could then help put that under the umbrella. And so, and again, here we go. I'm going to shoot from the hip here, but I'm going to do my best. The way it works is you're going to want to be, right, as an entrepreneur, right? And I'm assuming a lot here, but let's just say you don't have a job. So as an entrepreneur, you've got no planning for the future, right? If you go work for Walmart, they've got all sorts of stuff. Pensions are kind of out the window nowadays, but 401ks with matches, all sorts of stuff. As an entrepreneur, you got nothing, right? Nothing. So the finance manager can help you get that set up properly. You're going to want to put $6,000 a year into a Roth IRA in the beginning. If you're married, $6,000 per person. Okay. Once you get to a certain level, though, that stops making sense again for tax liability reasons, right? You want to be taxed the right amounts. And so since you're not taxed on the Roth IRA, it doesn't lower your tax liability. So then you want to, at that point in time, switch to a simple or whatever. Your guy will tell you, or gal will tell you. But at that roundabout that same time, the company's doing enough revenue, doing enough money to where it justifies to be able to offer that stuff to your employees as an incentive, so to speak. So, but you personally, you need a finance guy tomorrow. I love my guy, Jared. Sometimes he's on me, sometimes he's not. I don't see him in the Zoom, but if you want to connect with Jared, he can cover people in different states. He's very smart and very wise about all this stuff. Just DM me. I can hook you up with Jared 100%. If you don't want to work with somebody across state lines, DM me anyway, because Jared can hook you up with somebody that he knows and trusts in a state near you. But yes, all that stuff is super important, right? That's another part of open my beer with a highlighter because I don't have a beer opener. That's another part of becoming a businessman, right? That was the joke. It's like, I remember when I became an entrepreneur, right? I went from like small business owner, this is cute and fun, to entrepreneur. Like, I got opportunities coming my way. I've got conversations happening all over the place. Like, I felt entrepreneurial. I had new ventures I wanted to go tackle. And then all of a sudden, like, and it was fun. And it was like this long. And then it was like ton of bricks on my chest because I had all this other stuff that had to just be dealt with. I guess that's the best way to put it. It was kind of crazy. And that's when I became the businessman. Jordan asked over here on Zoom, did you learn all of this as you go? Yes. I learned all of this as I went. Like I said, with the first question from outside bouncers, I had a corporate job that I got at age 18, right? I'm not gonna tell you this whole story, but worked my way up to the ranks. You know what I mean? I was a district manager from age 25 to 34. And then that's when I quit and left. But during my time at the corporate place, right, they have a training department, they have a finance department, they have a HR department, right? So all these different little teeny sections of business, right? It's almost like I got my doctorate in business over the 16-year course of working for Journeys. But they've got all these different little branches, right? That as an employee, I could use them as the tool, right? The payroll department did all the payroll. But employees' pay is going to be jacked up, or I jacked up an employee's pay, whatever, right? So then I'd work with the payroll department to fix it. And I'm just curious by nature, right? So when I got Lisa from payroll on the phone, I started asking questions. How do we calculate this? Why does the check say that? Right? To where I just have enough. I'm dangerous in every aspect of business. I'm dangerous. I'm not knowledgeable at everything, but I'm dangerous enough to know everything. And so once stuff kind of started to really pick up steam, I was able to just draw on that experience that I had in the past. And it's really, I mean, it's helped me more than I could ever speak on. It's also another reason, right? I almost literally started the YouTube channel to help Kyle Malone roll a combo, almost literally. Okay. Now I wanted to do it, but that is the first video I ever made. And so shout out to Kyle if Kyle's out there. Shout out to Kyle. But as things progressed, right, I thought I was gonna make like 7 videos, right? How to roll a combo, how to roll a water slide, what to do if something's flooded, how to clean something. I thought I was gonna run out of content. And then,
is that the 22-foot video that you had?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that one was a big help for me.
Good. Yeah. And so as I kept putting out videos, the amount of questions that would come back to me about something that I almost took knowledge that I took for granted, that right, I just had, that I didn't even think I could teach anybody, just kept coming in this list. I have it over there. I just was writing this list of, oh my God, I could make a video about this. I could make a video about this. I could make a video about this. I just went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So I'm like, oh my God. Right. And I don't put out as much content as I want to, and I don't have as many videos out as I want to have. Simply because, right, the other part of, like, I'm still doing too much in the business. But it's like, once I can get a handle on that, like, I want to be the person that can educate you guys on all this shit, right? I've already tried to have Jared come on and do some cool stuff, finance wise, but that industry is highly, like, if you know any realtors, they'll tell you that industry is highly regulated. Nothing compared to finance, right? So anything that's finance related, I have to come with it. And at this point, I don't feel comfortable enough putting out a YouTube video, telling people what to do with their money. But at some point I will, you know what I mean? But the YouTube channel has almost become a way for me to, scratch my itch of teaching people things. So.
And the YouTube, I mean, I ain't asking numbers, but that does bring in some source of income, right? Because I've watched videos on that, and they say you get up to like 100 views and you start making money and stuff like that.
It depends on so the way you make money on YouTube is by the ads, right? So if you're like, man, I forgot how to roll this 22-foot slide, let me go watch next video, and you skip the ad, I don't make any money. If the ad plays through up to halfway, right? So if you watch half of the ad, that at that point, YouTube, aka Google, pays me 60% of whatever that company paid to have you watch it, right? So the $1.50 it costs to have you watch that ad, I make 60% of that. So it does, so it does fluctuate up, but it is surprisingly consistent. My channel has been growing, so that number has been growing. So there hasn't been a consistent number yet. But I mean, dude, I'm pretty open book, so I got no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, the number that I make off per month is not huge. It's super awesome. I think last month was my biggest month ever. I think it was $380.
Okay.
So it's like, so I'll put it like this: the amount of work that goes into make a good video is it's a lot. It's a lot when you want to make a good video that's going to get watched well, interacted with well, right? And you know, if you watch any YouTube videos, good YouTubers all do it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, the algorithm, et cetera, et cetera. It takes a lot of work, you know. So that $380 pales in comparison to the amount of work you did. However, that video will pay you forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's depending on your content, right? But my content's evergreen. How to roll a 22-foot water slide, right? Unless somebody goes and builds a bounce house channel, right? But that's not how the algorithm works. It doesn't even matter, like, right? That video is going to be the video forever, right? So so I will make the amount of money that's justified for how much work goes into the good videos. And the 22-foot videos we shot super fast. That one won't be it. But it's kind of
I think that's the one I've watched the most. That one, and then the 11 things, because you said 11's your favorite number or whatever. But the 22, like when I was first rolling up my water slide, I was holding my phone and I'd watch it a little bit, then I'd pause it, set it down, do that step, and then watch it again. So I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times.
Just let it play through all the ads and then rewind. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so the 11 tips is a good example. I mean, I put a lot, like I put heart and soul into that thing. Like talking there was like 2-3 pages of notes. You know what I mean? I'd learned lighting the hard way on a video prior, so I had the lighting set up. You know, then you edit, then you do hashtags, then you do tags, then you do, all that stuff. Right. I mean, I put heart and soul into that. Right. And so when I go on my channel and see it's got 30 something thousand views, I'm like, yes, dude, that one paid up. There's a video on there. I'm going to link it right now because it was what she was talking about. See if I can get some views on that thing. Cause I put equal amount of heart and soul into that video. It's called How to Hire the Right People. How to hire the right employees, my number one interview trick. And man, I put so much blood and sweat into that video, and it's got 800 views, dude. It underperforms at such a level that would make your head spin. But it's kind of like I knew it was going to happen because it's not a bounce house video. You know what I mean? Bounce house, no, who's watching it? It doesn't have a niche. There we go. I linked it in the Zoom chat and in the Facebook chat. Instagram, I'd love to get it to you guys, but I can't get it to you right now. I can't because you're on my phone. But yeah, go watch that video. It's a great video. I stand behind the content. I love that video. I watched it today just to make sure it wasn't shitty, so I could put it out on this. Right, and then she tell me a story, dude. I need to talk about tell me a story. But that video is badass, but it has 800 views, dude. I put so much. I promoted it like crazy on Facebook. I was like, I felt like I was in a pyramid scheme. I was promoting that thing so hard.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, that's a goal I'm wanting to get to eventually. Because I mean, I've scoured YouTube and Google and everywhere just trying to find different bounce house and water slide, any kind of video that relates, similar to this. and there's just not a lot out there. I mean, you're kind of like the number one out there as far as YouTube goes. I mean, there's some out there that I've watched, but I mean, you're kind of the main source that I've watched. So I'd hope to get there, and I don't see how you don't get more views. I guess everyone already knows what they're doing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, yeah. When it started, I kind of did the same thing, right? I went and, I mean, I don't do a lot of research. I'm a hands-on guy, but I know I remember going to YouTube and typing something in, or at least ending up on YouTube and just being like, there is literally no videos telling me what to do. Like,
Yeah,
there was
yeah, no.
nothing. And so I actually started, if you go to my videos and then scroll way down to the bottom, you'll see some early videos. Like, I want to say the how to pick up a bounce house video is from like 2019. I think it's from fall 2019. I had no clue what I was doing. It's not a very good video. It's good enough, right? But and then there's this big gap where I was like, oh, no wonder there's no good YouTube videos. YouTube's hard as shit. Like, you watch these YouTubers, like, man, all they do all day long is play basketball and do these challenges and get 9 billion views and they're trillionaires. So easy. Then you go try to start a YouTube channel. You're like, oh wait, this is really freaking hard. I had no freaking idea, clue in the world, or inkling of clue in the world that my YouTube channel would do what it did. It took off like a rocket. I am beyond humbled. You know, it's one of those things where I really went hard at it because it was something that I'd wanted to do forever, right? But when you're an employee, you're handcuffed. Like, I can't talk about anything I do as an employee. So then once I was an entrepreneur, I'm like, I'm free. And then I'm like, well, shit, and I don't have any content to talk about, right? I had all the stuff I wanted to talk about when I worked at Journeys. Would have been amazing. Would have been amazing content if they would have freaking let me do it, but they wouldn't let me do it. And so then once I quit, I'm like, well, I got nothing to do, right? But then the jump off accidentally filled that void, and it was off to the races. So here we go. I'm gonna answer. We got some questions coming in over here. What up from Oklahoma? What up, Bernard Anthony? Dude, the Instagram's popping tonight. 7 people at once. That's the most ever. Okay, rally through these Instagram questions real quick. What insurance do you use? I have Cosio. For those of you in Louisiana, we're coming up on a scary time where I don't know if there's going to be anybody to insure us here, because Cosio is a broker, right? Brown and Brown owns them, and they're a broker. Like, they don't insure you; they get you an insurance carrier. But anyway, Cosio. I talk to a lot of people about insurance over and over and over and over and over. The quotes from Cosio have been coming in rather high from what people have told me. I still absolutely love them. They do a bang up job. I don't want to be that guy that shouts it from the rooftops. They've been my only insurer of the whole time I've had insurance at the jump off, right? So I don't know anybody else, but I'm in a state where it's hard to get insurance. So I have Cosio. I love them. I have a personal relationship with Alex Cosio. He's incredible as a human being and as a mentor or somebody who can offer guidance in the liability and insurance world. He knows his stuff backwards to forwards to sideways. It's crazy how much he knows. So I know I'm getting badass coverage with Cosio, straight up. The other question, let's see. Oh, I got another one. What insurance company do you recommend? So yes, Cosio. You know, you're going to want to make sure that you got the right coverage, right? You need the right amount of coverage, and you need your policy to be written to where it protects you. No, I'm not an insurance expert, so I'm not going to go into that. That being said, the other big names off the top of my head, I know. So Cosio is probably the biggest name. Then you've got Van Dyke, you've got Friedman Group, and then you've got X Insurance. Those are the 4 off the top of my head that I know. But shop around, get a good quote. Make sure your coverage is good. All right, next question is from Amir7345. What up, Amir? Hey, Nick, do you have any good companies that do water weights for anchors? New regulations in the UK made doing bounce houses difficult for non-grass surfaces. That's actually a good thing. I wish America would do that too. the amount of bad setups on concrete is scary, right? A light wind can really mess some things up mess some people's lives up, right? So that's good. But so if you're in the UK, like, so the answer to your question is yes, I do have some good people that do good water bags. You're in the UK, so can I get them to you? I'm not sure, but I know for a fact Rocket Inflatables. So Rocket Inflatables makes a lot of, actually almost all of our strap products are in production at Rocket right now. I think literally every single item, yes. And they just started making water bags. I'm supposed to have some on the way. I haven't got hands on them yet. I've only seen the pictures of them, but the pictures Chris sent, they looked awesome. So I know Rocket has them, and they had them in stock. So go to rocketinflatables.com. They can get you some. The ones that I have, I got from Magic Jump. I've got no complaints. They're very solid. I have no idea if they got them in stock. Magicijump.com though. But water bags. So for those of you guys who don't know what water bags is, imagine a sandbag, but it's empty. And then you stick a hose in it, right? And it fills up with water. Water is going to weigh more than sand. And then you take the hose out, and there's a little cap that goes on it, and boom. When you get done with the setup, you take the cap off, you drain the water out, and you're good to go. So what I do is I buy 4 water bags that go in every truck. There's always 4 water bags, right? They're empty. You know, they're kind of big, but they compact down flat, so they don't take up a lot of room. And I put 4 water bags in every truck. That way, if Nick misses this, right? So I check to make sure we don't have any concrete setups, but sometimes I miss them. When the guys get there, they've got water bags, 100 pounds of water on each, at least on 4 anchors, right? So we can get the party set up and rolling, and we go back and get more sandbags if we need to. Or if it's a small bouncer, 4 will make it happen. Or the other off chances, every now and then you get to a setup and they're like, well, we're gonna do it in the front yard, but we need the back of the slide to be on concrete, and the front of the slide is gonna be on the grass, right? So then you have the water bags in the truck, ready to go. You don't gotta go back for sandbags, and you don't gotta freaking charge the clients more. I hate charging the clients more. So I keep 4 water bags in every truck. They are clutch when you need them. They gather dust a lot, right? We don't use them a ton. Dear God, when we use them, it's fantastic. Not found any UK companies that really make them. Try try Amazon. Because I know Magic Jump has historically sold on Amazon, and not even shitting you, I may have bought my water bags off Amazon, but I know they're Magic Jump, but I may have bought them off Amazon. But I know Magic Jump sells on Amazon. Tent and Table just started selling on Amazon, or I just noticed them selling on Amazon. They may have been doing it for a while, but I just noticed Tent and Table selling on Amazon, and the notion that Tent Table doesn't have water bags would be wild to me. So try that. I don't know if that will help. I have no idea otherwise how to get them over to you. If you were to call, I bet if you call, I'm going to put Chris out here, but I hope he can manage this. But I bet if you were to call Rocket Inflatables and talk to them, they can put together a package where they could ship them to you, and you just got to pay the extra shipping of whatever the hell it costs to get them from California out to the UK. But I bet you Rocket Inflatables could get you hooked up. All right, cool. So let's jump back over here. Friedman Group for Insurance. So Mark Goods said Friedman Group for Insurance. He said Alex is a great guy, but their insurance is not for me. It's one of those things, right, where they're an insurance company, right? They are out to mitigate risk. That's what they do. They may be too mitigated for you. So it is what it is. But that's why I tell people, get quotes, right? Even if you love who you're with, when your policy is about to expire, go get more quotes, right? If you can go save $2,000 freaking dollars on insurance per year, get the same coverage. And this is important for me. Get the same customer service. Then why the hell not, right? Then you can go, you got $2,000. You can go buy a freaking combo with. All right, I'm going to drop the Zoom link in Facebook again. That way, if any Facebook folks want to jump on and chat, right? So I'm on beer number 2. I'm on beer number 2 of the stream. This is usually when the stream loosens up and everybody starts talking. If you guys don't want to talk, I got more crap I can talk about. I'm totally good to go. I was very well prepared this.
Where all is Casio at? Is just in Louisiana, or how?
No, they're nationwide. Yeah, they're nationwide. They're based out of Atlanta, but they cover everywhere.
Okay, so they're out of Georgia. Oh, okay. How
They're very busy.
Yeah, and that's what I've been looking at of trying to holler at to get some insurance. But,
Yeah, get with them.
As far as cleaning your slides, I don't think I've seen a video of yours on YouTube about cleaning the slides. What and I'm sorry about all the beginner tips, but what kind of cleaning tips do you have?
So I know I've got one. I'll go find it while I'm talking. I've got one where it's actually a pretty good video because.
But is it? I want to say it's like a bounce house or a
yes,
obstacle course. It was something kind of different. I was looking more for the water slide, but I mean, I might have glanced at it, but it wasn't exactly what I was trying to clean. So like with the water slide I got, it's just got a lot of caked on stuff, and I tried pressure washing it, and I don't know. I'm looking for a decent chemical or any kind of tips on chemicals to get it how I really want it.
Yeah, I got you. So I do have a video where it's not intended to be a cleaning video, but is the video I send everybody for cleaning water slides. I'm going to link it here. It's going to start auto playing. So, all right. So I'm going to send this to the chats and you guys can go check it out. This was actually the first video ever made to sell rolling straps, and it ended up being more of a how to roll a water slide than about rolling straps. But it is very good so if you watch it with intentions of learning how to clean a water slide, it will definitely give you good information, because what we do in that one is clean the slide at pickup before we roll it. Before I roll it solo. There we go. It's in both chats. Before I roll it solo with the rolling straps. But water slides, you know what I mean? And I've gotten some shit for this, but this is the best way to do business in my opinion. So this is how I do business. Water slide. You get to the house to pick it up. Bring a couple towels with you. Wipe it down. Bring a spray bottle. I wish I could tell. Oh, I got these at Sam's. I bought a 3-pack of industrial size. They got this wide mouth where it's easy to pour cleaning stuff in. Just take one of those, right? So all you got to do is clean up the stairs, the landing, down the slide, and in the pool. Everything else you just got to wipe clean. It just needs to look good, right? You don't need to disinfect the side of the slide, in my opinion, right? So just towel it down, get it looking good. Do I dry them? No, I don't dry them. We roll them wet, right? We get them clean, but then we fold, just like in that video. Then we fold, then we roll, and it goes back to the warehouse and sits on a freaking shelf till next weekend.
Awesome.
You roll it, and it's gushing gallons of water out of the inside. All that water is going to squish and go everywhere on the slide. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're sending it. We blow it up at the next client's house, and it's dripping wet. Nobody cares, right? People out there drying their slides every week, sending pictures on Facebook groups of 4 slides blown up, drying them out on a Wednesday. I'm like, oh my God, just roll them up wet and send them back wet. It's fine. They're going out in 4 days to get soaking wet anyways. As far as chemicals go, I've tried a lot of stuff. I stick with 3. I got 3 different ones. So for just your basic cleaning, it's a Mr. Clean. I buy it on freaking Amazon. It comes in a gallon jug. It's disinfecting. A little bit goes a long way. It smells wonderful. I absolutely love it. Makes the inside of the bounce houses smell great. It's fantastic. So that's just for like your general stuff. Okay. If you need a little bit heavier duty stuff, or when you've got one that gets a little trash, Action Rides sells a PVC and bounce house cleaner or tent cleaner that I have really liked.
And that's a company or a website
it's a company. Okay. Action Rides. You'll talk to Stephen Porskin.
Okay. Yeah, I've been using. I just tried this new chemical. I want to say it's called Mean Green or Mean Clean or something like that.
There's all sorts of those.
Yeah. A lot of people swear by it. So I mean, it's been working pretty good for me. I use it to clean my Harley and stuff. So
perfect. Like that's the thing. Like if you find one that's good, just be careful. You don't want to get so if you use Dawn to wash your car, you're going to ruin your paint because Dawn is built to bust through grease, and it does a great job at that. Wax on your car is grease, right? The bounce house is sewn together with wax thread.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruin that, right? So whatever chemical you're going to use, you're going to want to make it sure it's something that's not going to do that, whatever that wax thing is with Dawn, like Dawn does. The last thing I have that I recommend, and you buy 1 gallon of it, dude, it'll last you forever. There's a stuff called Ship, SHIPP, Ship tent cleaner. It's blue. That stuff's gnarly. The first time I used it, I wish I would have done a better job documenting the free slide, but I got a free 18-foot water slide given to me that was trashed beyond belief. And so I used that Ship tent cleaner on it, and you know me, I just go. So I'm using it. I'm trying to get it clean, right? Ethan's cleaning the slide next to me. And then I look down at my hands, dude, and they're pruned up. Like, it looked like I was like 92 years old. So be careful with that Ship tent cleaner and stuff. It's very powerful. But between those 3, right, your basic one, the Action Rides, and then that hardcore Ship, you can tackle everything, right? And go buy. So from Action Rides, buy the 4-pack. Like, it's a box that comes with 4 gallons of the cleaner, and you dilute it in water. The Ship, buy 1 gallon, and then that Mr. Clean, buy that as many times as you need.
Okay. And then as far as just slide, like wear and tear on slides, at what point do you get rid of a slide?
I was actually there's another operator just down the road, not too far, in the next county over. We overlap a little bit. His name's Matt. Me and Matt were talking, and he was over here, and we were talking, and he was selling some stuff or bought some new stuff, whatever. And he's kind of like me, like he buys a lot of his stuff new, but he also buys used. Like, who cares? If it's in good condition, I'm buying it. I don't care whether it's used or new, whatever. And so he was talking about, he was selling this. It's been like this many years or whatever. I'm like, I kind of looked at him and smiled. I said, dude, I didn't know that I did this, but I run my stuff into the freaking ground. Like, I'm going to run it. My neighbors are waving at me in the window. I'm like, I'm going to run my stuff into the freaking ground, dude, because I mean, why not? Yeah. So a good example, right? I've got a good relationship with Spacewalk, right? That's right by me, right? And so I was going over there to buy a combo, I think a combo. And I just text Corey. I said, bro, I need some freaking water. Like, you got a water slide? He's like, I got this one. It's kind of like, right? It ain't the best water slide in the world. I said, all right, he said, screw it, bro. I'll give it. He loves me. I sent him a lot of business. $900. I'm like, all right, cool. I buy this used water slide from Spacewalk for $900. It's only made $3,200 this year. It's literally the worst performing unit we have come end of the year, right? It's outperforming some dry stuff right now, but the dry stuff will catch up. It's literally the worst slide we have. And I was talking to Tyler about it. Tyler and I were working last weekend, and I was talking to him about it. And because I was training him actually to drive the truck, right? So I'm riding shotgun, he's driving. And I'm like, I can't decide, dude. Like, right? I know I could sell it for more than $900 now. We've had it for 2 years. But let's just keep the ugly thing and make ourselves $3,000 a year off of it forever. Right? It's not going to get worn out. We'll just have it forever. Like, who cares, right? Who cares? So
yeah, old trusty or something like that.
Yes, dude. So I did sell 2 slides at the start of this year. A 19-foot Wipeout. She was old, bro. 2012, I want to say, I think it was. And then I sold a 19-foot curve slide from Moonwalk USA that I hated, and all my guys hated. If any of them are anywhere on this live stream, they'll start commenting about curve. We sold those because they were old, they were worn out. They were our 2 best renters. Keep in mind, it took a lot in me to sell them, but I couldn't bring myself to roll them another freaking time, dude. I hated them. We hated them. We all hated them. So I sold them to 2 nice kids that watch my YouTube channel. Right, they drove up from about 2 hours south of here, and they were like, "So you said in the Facebook post it comes with lessons?" I'm like, "Let's go, bro." So we we talked about slides for like 2 hours. They got a good value. They're
Do you
rented
sell-
down there.
Do you sell them with blowers or?
Mhm.
And then as far as like whenever you buy a slide, because all the ones I see on Facebook and stuff like that, like I'll say probably 7 times out of 10 they say no blowers. So I
Always.
just yeah. So
The reason is it's probably 2 reasons, but a lot of places don't sell them with blowers anymore. Like I don't know what happened, but they don't come with blowers. HEC, which is I don't know if they're the biggest, but HEC is definitely one of the most popular, at least around me. I mean, HEC slides are king. They don't come with blowers. My Easy slide came with blowers. I got a Corona Bounce slide that's sick, custom built, purple and gold for US or for LSU theme. But and they knocked it out of the park on that thing. But that's coming with blowers. So I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. People are just weird about blowers. I sell mine with blowers. Like here, have a blow.
yeah. Do you have any contracts like with churches or schools or anything
No
like
contracts. No contracts. I couldn't decide. We did so many schools and churches this year that it was right. I always wanted it. And then as soon as I had it, I was like, okay, I just wasn't prepared, I think, for it. Because they're like, they're all on weekdays. Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fit into your regular flow. It was very disruptive. And I'm into too much stuff, right? I got straps and I got all sorts of shit going on. But
Yeah.
it was very disruptive. So I'm like, okay. Generally speaking, once you get a church or get a school, like they're yours, right? Because they're just going to call you again next year. Or the PTA lady's just going to call you again next year. The new PTA lady's going to use who they used last year. I do want to make a point of that in 2023 to go after more schools and more churches. Definitely. Now that we did so many of them last year that I know the lay of the land. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But no contracts.
Gotcha.
So
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, this is Derek Hanks. Going back to the other guy's kind of blower question, and then you're talking about slides being worn out. What do you think causes worn out slides? Somebody putting a higher pressure blower on a slide that doesn't require it?
That can. You're going to overinflate it and basically, I like to make examples of the extreme, right? So think of your best 2.0 blower that you have and putting it on the smallest bounce outs that you have. Someone's breaking in. You can come in. Yeah, and putting that on the smallest bounce outs that you have. I mean, those seams are just going to stretch, and then it's going to require more air. Do you want to wave at the people? This is my 4-year-old. She's almost 13. But yeah, so that's definitely gonna do right. But that's gonna be rare. Like only a novice is gonna do that. We've ran some slides in a pinch where we had to go up a little bit of a size in a blower, right? But for 6 hours or a day, it's no big deal. Yeah. But basically when a slide's gonna get worn out, is just, I mean, if you've ever rented a slide, a water slide especially, because those just seem more violent to me, but rented a slide to somebody, a friend, whatever, and gone to the party. Just go to a party one of your units is at, and you'll watch what happens, and you're like, I wish I wasn't here right now. Now I know why this wears out. Like, it's just crazy the absolute abuse that they take. You know what I mean?
I can't go to parties where my units are.
Oh, bro, it gives me. I usually don't, just kind of like I don't know. I guess I'm not invited to them, but we go to a party every year where some of our good friends have some weird deal. Like they have a barbecue business, so they trade food with another local renter that's in my same city actually, and they get a free, 18, 19, 21 foot water slide in exchange for barbecue, right? So I'm like, yeah, I told them, I'm like, that's a good deal. I don't want to trade food for slides, so you guys do you. We go to this party, and what's taking place on this last year, it was a 19-foot titanium. I have the exact same slide. I had to walk away. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot watch this. It's just too insane. And so that's why like my big kahuna, which is brand new and a great slide because it's HEC and I love HEC, but there's certain points where the landing, like at the end, where and then the fish are up here, right? When it deflates, they go flat really quickly, and that corner, there's just so much stress on that corner, and those corners are already like I can walk by and I can hear air coming out of the corner, more air than used to come out of the corner. Now I'm not complaining because that slide actually, right, it's a 17-foot big kahuna water slide. It blows up firm on a 1.0 blower, so I'm not complaining. But whenever I am setting up or tearing down that slide, I'm like, yeah, this thing, like over time, that corner is going to need to get prepared for sure.
And that reminds me, we were talking about Dawn dish soap. Do you ever see or get kind of any signs of anything of people putting soap and stuff on the slides? I know it has to happen because even I'll blow my slides up for the kids, doing stuff at the house, and they'll say, hey, can we get some soap on here and put a soap on there and this, that, and third? And I'm like, no, you're sliding just fast enough. You're fine,
Yep, I went to go pick up a slide the other day, random weekday rental right at the end of summer, and I got there and there was 3 huge, like they're probably half gallons of Dawn. 2 of them empty and one of them like a third of the way empty. The whole place reeked of soap. I was just like, dude. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's in my contract that you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And then however you want to deal with it is however you want to deal with it. I'm generally speaking a laid back guy, right? To where I just kind of laugh it off and we move on to the next. You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
Yeah, there's people that will put them on the DNR list, that do not rent to this person list.
Yeah.
I think it's a silly list, right? I'm in this
getting rid of money. I mean,
I'm in this business to scale and make money, not right. But if somebody asks, yes, I tell them no. I'm like, man, right. And back when it was a small, little, cute, fun little, the jump off was this little cute side hustle, I used to say something different. Now, I'm like, no, dude, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, it's better for everybody. But it is true. Yeah, John's in the Zoom. He's right. If you are going to be okay with it, tell them to use baby soap so it doesn't burn their eyes, right? Because that's the tear-free baby soap, the yellow. It's better, and it's actually going to be less harmful to your slide. It's still arguable whether or not it's harmful to your slide, but he's right. But use soap regardless. So yeah. I actually thought about this is a long time ago. But I actually thought about going to the dollar store and getting these little bottles because my wife does at her hair salon. She also does eyelash extensions, and so she sells this. I don't know what the hell it is, but she makes it in this big jug and puts it in these little bottles, and it's like to keep the eyelash glue good or something. But I was like, dude, I'm gonna go buy a huge tub of baby soap. I wanted to somehow figure out a way to dye it red. But then I can have red water slide soap, and I can upsell people at the house. Like, no, you guys really want to? I didn't end up doing it. Yeah. And then hindsight, 2020, I'm glad I didn't do it. But I was going to use baby soap, just right, to kind of be like, look, you guys are going to do it. Take good care of my slide and take good care of your kids and do it with the right stuff. By the way, that'll be $10. And I did the cost analysis on it. It was going to be like, I want to say less than $1 per thingy of soap, and I was going to sell them for 10, but never did it.
As far as your strap business goes, do you do all the shipping and handling? Like you make them, build, or get them in, make them, build them, put them in there, ship them out. That's so. I heard you say it was taking up a lot of time, or you have a lot of time invested in that. So
I was. So there's. Let's get all the way over there. Can you see the sewing machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. I was at that thing 24/7, 365. I swear to God. Like, so we made the rolling straps. So the rolling straps were selling okay. And I was happy, but I was getting feedback from people like that it changed their lives, right? Like they could walk again. Like I was like, this is crazy. So I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make a better rolling straps video. So basically I kind of soft launched them like exactly a year ago right now almost, and was selling like 2 a week, whatever. That went on all the way throughout the year. Then it picked up a little bit, whether it was SEO or whatever, I don't know, word of mouth on Facebook, picked up a little bit. And that's when I started getting the feedback. So then in February, late February, Isaiah who works for me, Isaiah and I made a dedicated video to the rolling straps. From that point forward, it went so bananas. I was selling green ones, orange ones, purple ones, blue ones, gray ones, because I couldn't get material fast enough. At that point, I hired my mom. She was just in here a second ago with my daughter about 30 minutes ago, probably. But I hired my mom, so she started helping me sew them, and then I could actually keep up and get some other stuff done. But as an entrepreneur, I couldn't leave well enough alone. So then we launched the lashing straps and the D-ring straps. Then we launched the blower tube thing, and then we launched the, it just never ended. And then once we got everything going, I was able to get my mom to make a bunch of it. And then Rocket Inflatables actually approached me and they said, hey, don't be killing yourself. We can handle this. So then I worked out a deal with Rocket to where they manufacture everything. So they sort the material, they manufacture everything, and then they drop ship everything. And they're doing a pretty bang up job, right? We're still in the early stages, but I've been pretty impressed with the stuff that comes out of there. So long story short, if you were to order lashing straps right now, they're made by me. Every lashing strap that anybody's ever gotten ever is made by me. Any D-ring strap you've ordered, same thing. Any blower tube or any water slide tether, all 4 of those, every single one ever has been made by me. Just because my mom is really good at making the prime product, the rolling straps. She's really good at the rolling straps.
Why do I have a pickup?
And she turns those out well. And so I just left well enough alone. I said, you just keep making those. I'll handle everything else until Rocket has it. I haven't made a rolling strap in a while. My mom has made all of those. Hers are better than the ones that I make anyway. So you're be happy about that. And then going forward, what'll happen in about a week, is everything will be done at Rocket, right? So I will get the samples, I'll approve those, and as long as they're good, which everything always has been, then Rocket will be making everything. And the stuff they make, like, let me show you an example. So this is like a test one that Rocket made, and then this is like a normal one that we make, right? So this is one my mom made. Literally picked it up today, I think, right? So you got the little logo on there, right? And then that's right, and then that's what it looks like. Okay, that's your sewing. And this is some badass thread. It's expensive as hell. It's upholstery thread. So the ones from Rocket, we've got, and I love how they did this, much longer Velcro, right? So you don't have to aim for such a small area. And then this is gonna, it looks a little sloppier, but that's okay because it's a tool. It's not a prom dress, right? So then I don't know if the camera's getting a good shot of that, but this is sewn with the thread that a bounce house is sewn with. And look how much there is. Like, you're not breaking this ever. You're not breaking this. I've never had one of these break ever. I've never had the ones that my mom and I break ever. Never one.
Yeah, it'll break at the actual, like the the leather part before it breaks at the seam.
Yeah, right.
Or not leather, but whatever the material it's made out of.
Yep. But this is like mega badass. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, the way they sew the Velcro on is super cool. Right. So this is like my design, but then their sewers made it how they make it. But I'm like, dude, it showed up. The sample showed up. I'm like, holy like, we make good stuff, dude. This one's extra ultra mega heavy, dude. So I've been very, very impressed.
A little side note with that same conversation, how many years were you in the jump off whenever you started doing the straps? Or, years, months,
Let's
days?
see, like 2-ish. Yeah, 2. I think 2.
Okay.
I mean, and I made them like, the first one ever looked a lot like this. It looked a lot like this. It was sewn with much crappier thread and much smaller rings, right? But 'cause I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of testing it. And then this strap originally actually went this way, around it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like you'd have to fold this one back, but then it would fall apart. And so then I figured out to have it go this way. And that's the selling point. Like you guys can go, people bang on me on the Facebook groups all the time that my shit's too expensive. I'm like, that's fine. You go to Harbor Freight, dude, and buy the 30-foot toe straps that weigh 40,000 pounds, take up a whole milk crate. Like, or you can just do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we actually go to Harbor Freight, they're $3. It's like this little miniature cargo net. And we just hook that to the rolls all. Like it's so crappily hooked on there. We just hook it, and then that just slides in. And then this is just on the rolls all at all times. You know what I mean? Where you're never in trouble because it's always with you. This is the 1.5. If you guys are wondering, this is the 1.5. I don't have. Oh, I do. Let me show you. So I get this question all the freaking time. So now these are yellow, right? So these are the Jolly Dolly. So these are Jolly Dolly. Jolly Dolly, buy the jump off. These are super cool. But so if you buy a Jolly Dolly from Gary, I don't know if this comes with it or if you got to buy this from him. But anyways, this is the 2-inch, right? 2-inch. So ignore the color. 2-inch, 1.5 inch. So not a ton of difference. But when you hold both of these, like this is heavy and it's big, right? When you go to roll, I don't use winches. So if you use a winch, this is probably less of an issue. But when you go to roll, when you're pulling on this, it's a little harder to hold than the 1.5. It just fits in your hand. Like this 1.5 just fits in your hand. Like it's just.
Hey, Nick.
Yo.
Hey, I don't know if you got time. Can you look up and see which ones I ordered?
Yeah. Who is it?
It's Hank's.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. But but everybody orders the 2-inch because they think they need, they're stronger or something. I don't know.
I think that's what I ordered.
I did have like 3 orders of 1.5 come through today, which is mega rare.
I ordered mine the day you told me to order some. You're like, oh, I'm going to market these, so order some rolling straps.
Oh yeah.
I told you. Yeah, I told you I was waiting on my business debit card. Well, that day when I went to go check the mailbox, boom, there it was. I'm like, let's get it.
Oh no, you got 1.5.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you may be getting this one that's on camera. Not even lying.
Hey, autograph it for me. Because
I had somebody do that. I've done it before. But yeah, but anyway, so it just comes down to preference, really. So the 2-inch was the only thing, like first I ever made, whatever. And then and I wish I could remember his name or who it was, but there's no way I'm gonna remember. Asked me for 1.5 inch, and I don't remember why either. But I was like, I guess so. Like I'll try a 1.5. I don't know what's gonna come of it, but here we go. So I told him it's gonna be a little while, right? So I ordered enough webbing to make one, and I made it. I'm like, oh, this is dope, dude. And so at that point, I switched. It's all I use. All I use is 1.5. I love them. And I actually made Mike Oliver some 1-inch ones. Like, so if you can, I don't know if I'm gonna get this. Let me see. But this is 100 yards of 1-inch. But look how small this is. He loves it. He swears by it.
Is that for like an obstacle course or?
Yeah, he had me do these. And then if I'm not mistaken, he actually wraps, right? So once the unit's done getting rolled up, he uses this to like lash it together. You know what I mean? Which I tested that on our Rampage. So I made long enough I want to say they're 30 because the Rampage is kind of short because it's like a half pipe. So I think I made 30-foot ones, but I put like a normal lashing. I put like a normal lashing strap on it, like this, and a little cam buckle.
Yeah.
And so they're on there like that, and then they're 30 feet long to go around the Rampage. It just doesn't. I don't know. My hopes were that it would be something that you would put on, right? You'd buy one set for every slide. You never have to, you don't have to carry these around. But it doesn't. The guys never, right? The guys never even use them. The guys never even use them.
And then I know you said you had your mom on it, but you never thought of like hiring like a 2 or 3 man crew or woman crew or whoever to do the strap business. Just as far as
that was the plan. That was actually the plan. I was training two of my jump off guys. I was training Travis and Isaiah to sew. So they could make them. I was going to buy them a freaking sewing machine. I was going to send them with stuff, and they would sew, and then I was just going to pay them for every set they got done. I would pay them, a set amount per set of straps. And I was in the process of doing that when Rocket Inflatables approached me. I worked it out with Rocket, and I was like, it's a little more expensive to have them do it, right? And it's I don't want to say it's stressful, but it's just different, right? Because I don't have hands on it. They're in California. I do not have hands on it.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like, yeah, that's probably the move. Is let's have some real deal inflatable sewers sew this stuff that know what they're doing, right? And then they're handling everything in house. It just made more sense than trying to train my guys how to sew.
Gotcha.
Hey Nick, who makes your shirts, man? Because I'm trying to find some. It's hot as hell in Texas.
So shirts. So this is these are kind of expensive, but these are from a company called Bonfire. So if you go to bonfire.com, basically what you end up doing, like, so I have a Bonfire store that nobody's ever bought anything from. I think I even stopped linking it, but you go on there and you make your shirt, right? You upload your little logo and you make your shirt, and then you can pick out, you can do it in gray and red, blue and green and pink. And then these are awesome. I love these. I have a pink one and a tan one. I made some other stuff on Bonfire, and these are super cool. They got tank tops, they got long sleeves, they got hoodies. I don't know if they have like dry fit material or not, but they're like $20 a pop. My other shirts, like all this, like I got a tower full of freaking drawers of shirts. Those I go through, and actually the family that makes my shirts can make yours and send them to Texas. It's a local hardware store that's like a mom and pop owned hardware store. The Pennington family, they own a hardware store, a snowball stand, and a nursery in my city. Like they're known for, like they've been in Madisonville for a million years. And yeah, so at their hardware store, they have a screen printing business, and they do the screen printing for all of like my dry fit stuff. They do, so any shirt my guys wear is all made for Painters in both business. But if you're interested in having them do it, Jennifer can do it and ship it. Like I've already asked her that, and she's totally down. Or you can just Google somebody locally and see what you can find locally.
Do you have your logo patent?
It's trademarked.
Or trademark? Yeah.
It's actually very, very recently trademarked. I just barely got that trademark. I finally sat down and freaking did it. Got that trademark set.
I know as far as making them, I don't know if y'all have heard of crickets or how far they're out. I'm pretty sure it's, at least in our country, but the crickets do very well. I mean, you can kind of go in there. My old lady, she does it most of the time, but she can print up, just about anything and put it on a shirt. So a cricket, I think we paid $200 for ours, and then you have to get the vinyl. There's probably, they got all kind of different tools. Cricket, actually, you see that purple thing in my background? That's the Cricket machine, and then she's got a whole bunch of stuff. Cricket was probably $200, and then all the other stuff she has, like a little cup kit. That's my big that's really her holiday and birthday and all that stuff gifts I get her. But you can print just about anything. You print out the sticker and then you iron it onto a shirt and it sticks pretty well. So if you want to get shirts made, or a lot of people do that as a side business, car decals and stuff like that. So that's how we kind of do our stuff. But that's
Yeah, I
just
still have some. I still have some. I don't know that they're made on. They were the first ones I ever bought, but I bought them from a friend who has a business doing that, and she may have Cricut. I don't know what Maddie uses, but I still have those shirts. They're hammered, but it's like I'm like, no, I'm taking these shirts to the grave. Like I was so proud when I opened up the thing, and she actually made the first. Oh, I have a Bucky's one, but she made me as a test. She was trying to learn how to make koozies, and so she made me a jump off koozie. And so I opened the shirts up. I was all excited. I remember I filmed it. It's somewhere on Facebook or Instagram or something, but I filmed it. And then the koozie was like in there with it or something. I was like, beer tastes so much better out of your own koozie. Dude, I was obsessed with that koozie. Now I buy it by the hundreds. I got a box of them over there.
Yeah. With your guys, do you, whenever you hire somebody, do you give them an X amount of shirts, or do you make them pay for all the shirts, or do you give them some shirts and then I say you just, keep them?
Dude, I'm loosey goosey, man. I give them shirts. I tell them don't lose them, and then when they lose them, I give them more shirts and I tell them to stop losing them. Like I'm pretty chill with it. We have a little.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I keep the shirts here. Like, right, if I send this tower to the warehouse, it would be empty. Like I keep the shirts here, but then I replenish the box at the warehouse, and then eventually, like they start having it doesn't take them having too many to where they stop taking them. You know what I mean? Like the box still has plenty of shirts in it.
Okay.
Let's see. I got a good question over here. I've got this a couple times. Can you go live again? I'm not home and I wanted to take notes. Well, the good news is, Ruby, and I saw that question 2 other times. This will go on my YouTube channel.
Baby.
I just got my
Baby.
Just got my thumbnail for the Booze and Biz all set, so this will go on the YouTube channel. So you can watch it, rewind it, just go watch it on YouTube. It'll be all there. Okay, so Graves, what up, Graves? Shout out to you, man. He asked, can you explain to me what the deflator does, and do you recommend it in my inventory? So I'm going to explain what a deflator does. It's basically it's a piece that hooks on the intake of your blower that kind of goes backwards, so to speak. So that way you can flip the blower around and stick that down inside and suck air out instead of blow air in. Do I recommend you buy one? Hell no, none of them work. None of them work. Now, that being said, I made, and the best place to go watch this video, I think, is on, because that's not on YouTube yet. So it's on TikTok, which is frustrating, I know, because you can't like pause and rewind the TikTok, right? Because it's a fucking 8-minute long TikTok. But go to TikTok and watch my bucket sucker. That's what we called it. Is the bucket sucker. The bucket sucker deflator video where I make the bucket sucker. That thing, dude, I am not doing a pickup of anything remotely large without it ever again. I am low-key obsessed with that thing. The reason I love it so much is because it doesn't add any time. The rolling straps, anybody who's ever used these, they know they save lives. They do take, however, extra time to set them under the slide. And when you're done with the slide, if you're going to go do another pickup, you're just going to chuck them in the truck. But then it's still kind of a messy thing. Or if you're done, you got to roll them up, whatever. They're amazing. And we take them to every single pickup we ever do. Not that we always use them, but we always have them just in case. The bucket sucker takes no extra time. So basically what I'll do is, and I need to make a full-blown video on exactly how I use it now that I've used it enough times. But what we'll do is we'll open up like one zipper on the back of a tall water slide. Okay, one zipper on the back, one zipper on the front, and kind of hold them open, start taking out stakes, kind of doing our normal thing, walk some air out of it, just get it relatively deflated, especially down towards the pool, right? Because you're not going to be able to suck all that air out from the pool. But all that's a normal flow of work. You're doing that anyway. So then once that's all done, I guess it takes extra time to zip the zippers back up and then stick that bucket down in there, which that takes 4 seconds. Stick the bucket down in there and turn the blower back on, and then just go thump and put the intake right up to it, and it goes boom, sucks right to it, and you'll watch that slide start to deflate. Right? It's not like dramatic, okay? But you'll watch it kind of start to deflate. But then as you fold it, right? And I like to get that blower tube in the middle, or if there's not a blower tube in the middle, I put it in the vent in the middle. But then as you fold it, you can watch the fold suck down. Then as you roll, it's still sucking air, right? As you roll, it's just sucking all the air out to where your roll ends up super tight and awesome. And I love it. I use it on everything that I do. Any tall water slide. The only thing you do have to be careful of, if there's water inside that water slide, it sucks it out, and it sucks it out violently, which sounds like a good thing, but it's going through your blower motor. There's a lot of electronics in there, and it's then blowing out, right? The normal place the blower blows out, right? So if you're going to use it, if you're going to go pick up a flooded water slide, and I had a situation last weekend where we showed up. I even looked inside the water slide. There was no water in it. We start rolling the water slide. As soon as we started rolling the water slide, it started spewing water. I'm like, oh my God. And it tripped the breaker that fast. So you do have to be careful with those things. And I've never seen a warning on a regular deflator, the crappy ones you can buy that don't work. I've never seen a warning on those before, right? So why everybody freaked the hell out when the bucket sucker video was posted, I don't know, but I got a lot of shit for that. But they were right? My guys should not have been doing what they were doing. And I posted it out of satire, right? But it's my fault. Sarcastic on the internet, right? You can't be sarcastic on the internet, so it's all good. But the bucket sucker for life. For life, it's just the best thing ever. I can't even explain it.
Hey Nick, I got a question for you.
Yeah, hit it.
Your foam machine, I watched your last one of these, and you said you get 4 hours out of one pack?
No, two.
2 hours? Okay. I was just reading on the pack on their website, it says 30 to 60 minutes. So that must be wide open.
Oh, they must have changed it.
Okay.
it. And whether or not I went off what was on the website, or because I was having a conversation with the owner, with Greg when I bought it. So I went off of, but I know I went off of something specific where it said each pack should last you 1 to 2 hours or 2 hours or something. So I've always told everybody every rental comes with 2 packs of foam and it should last 2 to 4 hours. But I've never had anybody complain either.
Okay. After listening to that, I think I'm gonna go buy one.
I mean, dude, that party machines thing is so easy to operate. You just drop it off and let the client operate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's done a little over $4,000 this year.
What all small add-ons do you offer? I know I do water balloons, like a water balloon bucket by the big pack of, I think I got a pack like 600. You can do 35 at a time. You can kind of break it down and put it in a bucket. You do any like little stuff like that? I know tables and chairs and stuff like that, but
yep, just tables and chairs. That's all we do. We got tables and chairs. I'm the opposite. Like I like inflatables, water. Like I want to be in and out, clean, efficient. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been, even when I was a salesman, I upsold enough to where I could hit my metrics at my job. But I was never an upselling salesman. I was a volume guy. I'd rather wrap one customer up so I could go get another customer versus spend an extra 5 minutes talking to somebody into buying socks from me back when I sold shoes.
Okay.
That being said, so I stick, dude. I'm very more volume. I would rather spend the money on Event Hawk to go get another water slide rental. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like I just added a generator to my inventory literally 4 weeks ago, I think 5 weeks ago. Like I just don't I'm not into the upsell thing. I don't have candy machines. I don't have cotton candy. I don't have popcorn. It's just, I don't know. It's my personality. I'm not right. It's
Gotcha.
my personality.
What's your take on like inflatable games, like inflatable axe throwing and whatnot?
I think it's so niche that in order
Not
for
worth
it
it.
to make sense, you got to be a monster company. This actually came up. I popped into the tail end of one of the discussions that Jana had, right? And Jana's company is way bigger than the Jump Off, and so somebody asked her that, right? And she had the best answer I've ever heard because she has so much experience. She said basically, yeah, it's going to collect dust all year until you get to festival time or I think she said also school event time, right? And then it will go out and make some money. But if you're scaling, right? Jana and Joe aren't scaling anymore. They're not like working on growing. Not saying they don't
Yeah.
want to grow, but they're not a scaling business anymore. They're like a sustained, right? And they're very large. To where for them, it's kind of like, I mean, when you're that big, you're going to get to the end of the year. You're going to need to dump some money into something. Like, fuck it, let's buy, whatever, one of those football throwing things or a bungee run or whatever. Like, screw it. You know what I mean? For me, like, I'm still scaling. I'm on year 3, and we do some very good revenue for how young of a business we are. But I'm still scaling. Like, I'm ready to go spend $30,000 on water slides. Like, I don't even want to spend 80. What does a popcorn machine cost? $300. Like, I don't even want to go spend $300 on a popcorn machine. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to have that slow us down because I'm so hell bent on scaling. You know what I mean? And again, not that I'm right. I just think for whatever one of those games is going to cost,
You'd rather spend that on a water slide where you can go make 15 grand.
Yeah, I know it goes. I know. I mean, I bought a 22-foot dual lane from HEC. When did I buy that? It was late in the season. Like water slide season had been going. Like it was late that I bought that. It's outperformed everything to a degree that's shocking. Like it's done like 15,500, I think. 15,500 in the short amount of time that we've had it. And it's like, dude, right. And I bought it at a
hard time leaving that.
Yeah, and so just imagine what it's going to do next year. It's like, for me, like that's why I don't have tents yet. I want tents. I want to have a gang load of tents, but it's like if I just spend that money on a water slide, I know what it's going to do. I'd rather do that. Is there a tent person on here? Somebody had messaged me right before, not right before we started, but like kind of when I stopped looking at my phone before I started, asking about. Oh, I'm sorry, it's done 13,000 this year. That 22 foot's done 13,000 this year. Asking if we talk tents on here, and I never answered the person because I needed to put my phone down so I could get everything ready. But the answer is yes, we do talk tents on here. If anybody's got tents, I want some. I just don't have any. But does anybody have tents?
This is a question for tents. I mean, you said you don't want to get into tents now. What stops you from buying like just one tent and renting one tent out? Just ever, which I know you're already pretty big as far as like the jump off stuff goes. So I still work my own job and then do this on the side. So, but just your thoughts on that.
Why don't I have tents? That was the question?
Or just not like, why don't you just, buy one tent and then, kind of see how it goes or whatever, just spend, you said you didn't want to spend the money on tents because you said, you're ready to spend however much on, just straight water slides.
Right.
And, so it'll make you the money. Why not buy one tent, so you can add that on, which you just said that you're, more of a blunt person and say, hey, you get a water slide and that's a wrap kind of thing. But, a tent as an add-on, and you got decent, customers with the Christmas lights and stuff, they spend a lot of money on stuff like that. But as far as, just buying one tent and kind of seeing how it goes, what stops you from buying that one tent,
Two things. Number one, I never even touched one. I never even seen one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, when like, if I didn't have a YouTube channel and I wasn't selling straps, and maybe not if I wasn't doing Christmas lights, you know what I mean? I would have the time to dink with it. We were so balls to the wall, and I was overhired coming into the year too. You know what I mean? Like I was carrying too many guys, and then we barely made it because we ended up so busy, right? Event Hawk was a major component of that because I had them start doing my ads and install it on the site. But dude, I couldn't keep up with anything, let alone learning a tent. You know what I mean? Now, like I've got so it's August. So I mean, I've got like 6 weeks before I start doing anything physical with light, like before we start installing lights. You know what I mean? So I've got a 6-week opportunity here to figure out what the hell, I can do with my time. A tent's not what I want to do. That being said, like I don't want one tent. I want 10. Like there's 2 places that rent tents around here. They're pretty far removed from like they're in my area, but they're on the far eastern edge of it. So if I carry 10 tents, I think I could kill it. It's just a timing thing. Like I'm a big fan of a concept that I dreamed up a long time ago of seasons, right? So I'm a sports fan. I used to be a big sports fan. After COVID, I don't really care about sports anymore, but I used to be a big sports fan. And then I love business. And then I'm just a person that likes to get myself in over my head by nature. So a long time ago, I kind of started to realize that I would almost prioritize things, and I started calling them seasons, right? And I just make up seasons. I don't have like water slide season and bounce house season. What I mean is like I will have content season, right? Where
season for yourself.
We'll see my channel pump out a lot of content, and then it'll not go dormant, but then it'll really slow down. But that's just because I shifted something else, right? And so as the jump off store, right? I mean, I just launched that, but as the straps business then became busy enough to justify its own freaking Shopify store, right? So I was in like scale mode. I was in jump off store season where it was like everything I freaking did was buy supplies, get stuff to my mom, get stuff from my mom, talk to Rocket Inflatables, getting stuff, whatever. And then I got no time. Then Gary from Jolly Dolly approaches me to make these yellow ones. You know what I mean? And I said yes. And then Tommy from Rosal approached me to make green ones. And I said yes. And then he hasn't ever followed back up. And I've been so busy. I'm like, that's cool. We're going to wait a minute, right? I got a cool thing that we're doing with Event Hawk. And then I got another badass thing, straps-wise, I'm doing with Inflatable Office, right? And so it's like, dude, it was like straps season.
Yeah.
And so I'm a very big fan of separating my life into those seasons as we kind of came out of busy season with the jump off, right? Which last weekend was kind of the last busy weekend, but I came off of vacation the weekend before. It was time for Nick season. Like I had to slow down so I could speed up. I had taken on a lot. I'd gone balls to the wall, like 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, the whole year. And I needed to chill, dude. I needed to chill and get my mind right, which we're good it is now, you know what I mean? To where I can now shift, and I've got opportunity in front of me to start a season of something else. It's not going to be tense. You know what I mean? It's not going to be tense. Do I go tense? This is a good question. So if you had the opportunity and the capital, would you go tense or would you go video game truck? What does everybody think? Comments. I'm gonna get back on Facebook. Yeah. Comments in the chat or unmute, and you guys can talk. You guys got to be on mic drink number 4 now.
You said well, my speaker ain't the best. You said tense you said go tense or go what?
Video game truck.
Video game truck.
Video game trailer. Yep.
Or trailer.
Gaming trailer. Gaming truck. John said video game truck all day. That's dude, right? Tents may be a good investment. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure they are, right? Because there's tent guys tell you once you start doing tents, you want to stop doing bounce houses. But a video game truck, dude, that's so much more fun.
I mean, how exactly is that set up?
So basically, you commission a company. Like there's companies that build them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You tell them what you want inside, and they build out a video game trailer with a PS4, a PS5, an X, whatever you want inside.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the actually, all of them I've ever seen have a thing that comes out of the trailer. It's like a big cargo trailer, probably 16 to 18 foot cargo trailer. It has a door that opens up and a big TV inside, and then that's where the Nintendo is. So you can play Just Dance. So you can play, all the Nintendo games that require movement.
Okay, yeah. This is the first time I heard about it. That's why I was like, when you said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure he said video game truck, but I was like, I don't know if he said it, but
they're dope, dude. I've got a video I did with Maurice. I don't think it's up on my channel yet, though. I know I started editing. No, I know it's not. I started editing it, and then I got too busy recently, and we shot the video forever ago. But basically, in a nutshell, and I don't remember all the financials, but it makes good money, right? So the video game trailer itself is going to cost you $80,000, and then you need a truck to pull it. But right, we're all bounce house people, so we all have some sort of truck. That stuff is just fun, right? And when you think about, so you charge $400 for 2 hours. So you think about your Saturday, right? The first party's probably 11, but you can rock as long as you can staff it. You can rock into the night. So I mean, think about do 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2. Right, you got to travel a little bit in there too, but 2 to 4, like you do 5 of those things, right? So 5
about
times 400. It's like they make good money, and there's not, you didn't even know what it was, right? So there's a competition level that's huge out there. There's also that being said, you also have to make a market for it, right? So if it's not an established thing in your area, you can't just buy a gaming trailer and then make $1 million. You know what I mean? You've got to have a market for it, or create a market for it. But,
like how big is the trailer?
Yeah, 16, 18 feet. And then inside it's got like a wall of TVs with the systems in front of them. Yep. Then behind is like a bench, right? It's all carpeted. It's got LED lights in it and stuff. And then one of them had a TV on this other end too, like right by the door. Yeah. Then it runs on a generator, and then it plugs into the Wi-Fi. Not the Wi-Fi, but it plugs into the router in the person's house.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would never would have thought of that, because most of the people that play games, because I'm a gamer myself, I do like Warzone and stuff like that. But nowadays it's all online, which I mean, I guess they could all hook it up, to their Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But
yep. Yeah, it's super cool, dude. It's super cool. So that's kind of why it's like, I don't know, I just saved the $2,000 from buying the tent. Like, be one step closer to buying the gaming trailer. I don't know. All right, is anybody planning on, or you know that Tariq is doing a live? 6 minutes. So his is called his have good names. Surviving the off season or Surviving the Off Season 101, something like that. But he's doing a live that starts at 8 that I would love to be on. If you guys have questions, we can rock as long as you guys want. If you guys want to unmute or drop a question in the chat, we can rock as long as you want. But
I do have a question real quick. The Event Hawk, I've been hearing this like the last few months or whatever. What does it entail and what is it about, and is it worth it?
So worth it, yes. It's got 3 different really they have kind of 4 different components. Okay, so start at the basics. So the Event Hawk pop-up. basically what it is, if you go to my website, it's thejumpoff.com. And then when you're on the site for like 4 seconds or something, a pop-up comes in and says, we have a flash sale going on. We got this coupon. Click here for the coupon. So that's basically what Event Hawk kind of is, so to speak. And so the client then clicks the link, takes them to a page. You gotta make a coupon landing page, which takes 4 seconds, and then they put in their information, right? Their name, first name, last name, phone number, and email. They put it in, and then it takes them to then you make the landing page for the coupon. So it takes them to a page that says, use code bounce10 for $10 off, or use code whatever for a free overnight, whatever you want your promo to be. So that's the pop-up. So then really what Event Hawk is from there is it's a system that then auto texts that person X number of minutes later and says, hey, this is Nick from the Jump Off. I saw you were shopping on the website. I wanted to know I wanted to know what date your party is. So then you have a separate app, right, that you chat with everybody on, like the Event Hawk app. And so basically all day long, the Event Hawk app just goes bling, August 27th. It's a random person to you because you didn't text them, but August 27th, September 9th, right? You just start getting dates that come to you. And so basically what it's doing though is as traffic is coming to your site, right, and they're shopping your site or whatever, this pop-up, it's annoying. His pop-up is annoying them to where then they go fill out and they give you their information, right? Do you know what a funnel is? You know what a sales funnel is? Okay, so it gets them further down the funnel because you have their information. Then texts them, hey, what's your date of your party? Then they tell you. You can then say, right, so what I always say, so I just get a text message, random text message of a date. And then what I say is, awesome, what slide was your favorite slide for your party? Then they'll tell you, well, we wanted the big kahuna. Then you go in, you're like, cool, big kahuna's available. What's the address? I'll put together a quote for you. And then you can send over a quote. So without Event Hawk, this person would have just come to your site, right? There's no pop-up. They don't interact with anything. They didn't book a slide. They didn't get a quote, and they left. But because they filled out the Event Hawk pop-up, they are then now within your control. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So you'll book a lot more clients just with that component. Okay, and you've got to learn how to interact with those clients because it's a different client, right? It's a hot lead that comes in that filled out a coupon form on your thing. So you've got to learn how to interact with those clients. But once you do, you'll start to close a lot of them. So that's basically what Event Hawk is. Now then they're also, I mean, they're hands down for sure, no questions asked, the #1 Google ad agency for event rentals, for bounce house rentals, and for water slides. So long story short, Tariq kind of went down the rabbit hole. Like, so I built my own personal blog a long time ago, like 2017. And you go down this rabbit hole of SEO and Google ads and all this crazy stuff you didn't even know existed in order to grow your business, right? Well, Tariq went down that rabbit hole with his bounce house and water slide business and got super interested in it, went super deep with it, got really good at it, figured out just basically A/B testing his way to figure out the exact perfect way to market a bounce house business on Google, and then to go get more Google reviews. Jana, at some point in time, and I'm probably butchering parts of the story, right? Because I've never heard it directly from them, but Jana, at some point in time, approaches Tariq to do this for her business. It works so well, she somehow convinces him to start Event Hawk. So that's how Event Hawk was like all born, so to speak. So between Event Hawk being on your site with the pop-up and then you interacting with the people where it asks for their date, that system also auto texts them on Tuesdays to ask for a Google review. Then with Google ads, those are the two main products of Event Hawk that are most effective. And just, I mean, the best way I can describe it is this year, going into this year, I was set up for a big year. I had my 2 trailers, I had my 2 trucks, I had freaking 8 employees, which I had no business having 8 employees, but I was like, I'm ready to dominate. I had to buy 2 more trailers and another truck, and we barely had enough employees to keep up. And yes, we did a lot of good things last year to grow the business organically. And yes, my website, right? Obviously the SEO naturally grew and people, right? But as soon as I got Event Hawk, 2.5, 3 weeks later, started getting crazy. And then 4, 6, 8 weeks out, I'm telling you, I did not know I could be that busy. I did not know I could do $15,000 on the weekend. I didn't know I had enough slides. I didn't know I had enough guys. I didn't know I had enough, I didn't know I could do that. And it's a lot of it has to do with that, right? So those are your 2 best pieces of that. Now they also do Facebook ads, which I just started having them do my Facebook ads. And in my opinion, I've not talked to Tariq personally about this, but in my opinion, it feels like Tariq has gotten pretty serious about the Facebook stuff, just because he's kind of promoting it. He's talking about it more. And he used to not like it, and now it feels like something that he's very into. They do Facebook ads the right way, which is called retargeted. So the only people on Facebook and Instagram that see your ads are people that have been to your website and got cookied on your website. So you're not showing your Facebook ad to anyone besides people who have been to your website. So it's going to only show it to hot leads, so to speak, right? And I'm not a marketer, so I'm probably not using the right lingo here, but I started the Facebook ads with Event Hawk a little bit late. And it's hard to say because Facebook changed their stuff Apple changed their stuff with their iOS update that killed all the ad tracking. So it's hard to say, but the way my gut feels about this is we were going to be busy this year. Event Hawk took it to heights I didn't know were going to exist. And then when the season normally kind of slows, that Facebook ad really just, instead of it slowing, it just kept it on either a flat plane, but way higher than I thought it would be. And then the 4th piece, they do SEO. So they'll go through your website and do SEO the right way, backlink to all this like complicated stuff. The SEO is expensive. I'm going to have them do that because I know the value of doing it the right way, and I know how, I don't want to use the word impossible, but how unrealistic it is for a normal person, right? And I know the internet well, how unrealistic it is for me to do SEO correctly. I'm going to pay them I don't remember what it costs, $1,400 or something like that. X number of pages. It's a much more complex animal, but I'm going to have them do that for me next year. Maybe this winter to get ready for next year. I'm not 100% positive, but I've seen enough results from the first 2, right? And then I feel comfortable that they still are doing my Facebook ads, so I'm still comfortable with them doing them, obviously, to where I think the SEO piece is worth investing in. And this is coming from somebody who wants to dominate the world, right? so everybody's ambitions are going to be different, but is it worth it? Yes, absolutely.
So here's my biggest fear. I'll tell you a little backstory. I work full time at the fire department, so this is like our side gig. It was kind of I got 8 years so I can retire, so it's kind of a retirement thing, get the business paid for, try to pay some personal debt off, and hopefully just let this run once I retire. And we used to have plenty of employees. We had as much as 6. We've only got 13 inflatables. I have to have more employees because of my work schedule to keep the business running while I'm gone. This year we cut down to 2, and we made it work. But unfortunately, the guy that kind of runs everything for me, this is going to be his last season. So next year is be the first year that we've been in business that I've been worried about a employee status. The one employee I have coming back next year is a hard worker, but he's the type that you got to tell him everything to do. So I want to grow. I want to make more money, but I'm also scared to grow and scared to make more money. Not scared to make more money, but scared to grow, thinking I can't keep up because of my full-time job. So I've been kind of hesitant about doing stuff like that. We got the ERS thing. It kind of worked pretty good for us. The ERS, but just kind of nervous about growing, I guess. I know that kind of sounds stupid, and that's kind of bass backwards what everybody wants for the business, but it just kind of bothers me. But if I had that one person that could run it and I know could stay there, it would be no issue. I'd want to take on the world, like you say, but it kind of makes me nervous now.
Yeah, I mean, there's the number of people that'll watch this video to the part where you just say, that you're scared to take on too much, that think you're lucky is huge, right? That's amazing. That's a great problem to have. However, that being said, when you have that problem, it's a shitty problem to have, right? So what I would tell you to do is if you can figure out, like, so do you and your wife co-run the business, or is it just you and the employees?
It's pretty much just me. I mean, my wife handles the Facebook messages through the Facebook status, but I do all the phone calls and do all the bookings. We normally have our ERS website where they can go and book online. This year, we kind of shut it down. It was a little bit easier for me to manage that way. And because the fuel prices went so, I'm in a very rural area. I'm in Southeast Alabama. So it is nothing. We travel, 30 to 40 minutes between rentals sometimes. So when fuel prices went sky high, we kind of blocked everything out where they got to call me. And that kind of helped me say, okay, yeah, we're going to be in that area. We can make that sale, or we're not really going to be. That's totally opposite where we're going. Is what they're wanting worth us driving this many miles for. In other words, they're just going to get a $200 bounce house. It may not be worth my time to drive an hour out the way, the opposite direction where we're going. So we kind of did that. We didn't have as good a year this year. We're having a down year a little bit, especially compared to last year. Last year was by far our biggest year. We're still ahead of sales from 2020. We're just about 18% down from last year. So, but she handles the messages. I handle like all the bookings and the phone calls, and that kind of stuff. So she helps, but I pretty much run it for the most part.
Right. Okay. So I mean, she'll be able to handle the Event Hawk messages, which is a good thing, right? Because they're repetitive. It's the same freaking conversations over and over and over. Once the conversation gets kind of deep, right, it can get a little bit intricate, but that it's so rare. So from that standpoint, she'll be able to handle it. But for you, I mean, I would be in, let me rephrase that. I would be in get interviews mode. I would just be trying to do as many interviews as I possibly can. There's very good people out there. That not only will they be an asset to your business, but they want to be an asset to your business. I've got multiple of them through some luck, some hard work, whatever, but I've got multiple of them. And it's the stars align for me currently. Like, I do not think I'm, the messiah of manpower, but I would just be right. If you can answer that question, right, especially going into, right, so if you're in Alabama, I'm sure your school's already started too. So you should be past your peak season. I would just build, just meet people, ask people if they know anybody. If they do know anybody, get their phone number, then text them.
We've been pretty fortunate with our employees that most of all the employees we have is we've never actually had to conduct interviews. It's always been from our first employee. It's always either been family of ours or friends of ours or somebody that knew somebody. And we've been very fortunate to only have maybe a couple of bad apples. I think that's another thing that kind of scares me as I hear the horror stories of all the employees. And while I'm at the fire station, I'm worried that, when I'm here, I'm there for 24 hours and I'm worried that somebody's going to screw something up. And knock on wood, we've only been in business about 6.5 years, but we've never really had any major issues. And I know it's coming. I know it's going to happen one day, but I think that's my fear, is hiring somebody that I don't know and trying to, have that trust thing, I guess, just trusting somebody that they're going to do it the same way you're going to do it. And I've been fortunate for the most part to have that. And I'm kind of scared about that, but we're looking this year, to definitely conduct some interviews, because the guy I've got coming back next year, he won't be able to run it. I mean, while I'm here, and like I said, I can't stop the business while I'm here. I never anticipated to be as big as we are, and we're still very, very small compared to a lot of people. But for what we were, I never anticipated to be this big. And I do want to grow. I'm just, like I said, I'm scared to grow to make sure it works. But it's like the guy now, if I had if I could pay him a salary, I would pay him, and I wouldn't worry about it. We get as big as we want to. He's great at what he does. It's just, he's moving on to something that's not quite as seasonal. That's what we got.
Yeah, which is understandable. I mean, the only thing I can tell you is, I came into the entrepreneur world having only employed strangers my entire life, but as a corporation, right? So I was insulated from, right? They weren't stealing my money. They weren't breaking my equipment, right? So the horror stories, which I've got plenty of them, right? They were doing something bad to the company, which I loved, but I was insulated from that. So it is far different as the owner. But if you can get yourself mentally over that hurdle, all I can tell you is when you find a good employee and then take great care of them, there's no better feeling in the freaking world from when they tell you how great you are, you know what I mean? For how you invest in them, or for how you lead them, or whatever your strengths are. Like, it's the most humbling thing in the world, you know what I mean? Because if they feel that way about you, you've changed their life just 1,000 times more. So I would challenge you to get over the mental hurdle of hiring a stranger, and you just got to do it. You just got to do it. Right? Think of all the big companies in the world. Like, there's no employees at Amazon that Jeff Bezos knows. There's none. And think how big that thing is, right? That is how you scale. But you did say something that I want to point out. You said they're not going to do it the way you. I don't remember if you said the way you want or the way you would. I think you said that they wouldn't do it the way you would. And what I'm here to tell you is they're not going to. That's the number one piece right there. That is the key. You have to be comfortable with them being 80% of your 100%, right? When they're out there, when you find the dude that's 85, and you'll know day one, you're like, oh, this guy's different. This guy's going to be 85. That's the guy that just pay him whatever he needs, right? That's the guy that you have to keep. Most of them are going to come in 65. Most of them are going to come in 72%, right? And you're going to teach them and build them and create and just push them to get to 80. But if you can get 80% of your 100%, that's it. That's the goal. Because you're not you. They never will be you. They're not you. And you can't expect them to be you because they don't own the company, right? If you want them to get to your level, you got to give them 100% or 50% of the company. That's the only way.
They ever ask for raises or promotions, or do you run like a promotion type, deal where, you got assistant manager, or, I trust you and then I kind of trust you type deal?
Yep. So that's kind of in the works. That is going to become much more pronounced next year by plan, by organization. As of now, they go from helper, quote unquote helper, to driver, and then amongst the drivers, it's set up now as a seniority because that's convenient, because it's also correct. Meaning my most senior driver that I have is my most experienced and my most knowledgeable. And then the second is the second, the third is the third, right? And you get down to the fourth and fifth, like it's kind of like, right, you're splitting hairs, but it's not, I don't want to say it's not that important, but it's not something to worry about, right? But when I went out of town, I did pay one of my guys to run the show, right? He got access to the Event Hawk. He got access to the jump off phone number, the other jump off phone number, and everything came to him. All problems came to him. All solving came to him. All movement came to him. So-and-so couldn't work today. That came to him. You know what I mean? So that was the kind of the first real move I've had to where promote a manager. Not that he was promoted to anything, but he managed the business while I was gone. You know, he's the most tenured driver and my most experienced. He actually also works for another inflatable company on the days that we don't run.
Okay.
But he did, he did a bang up job and he got paid extra money for it.
Hey,
So
hey,
how many days do he work to, or does he work for you?
So he'll run slides for us on, let's see, Saturdays and Monday. So he'll run Saturday drop offs, Saturday night pickups if we're doing any, Monday pickups, and then anything through the week. The other company runs Fridays and Sundays. So basically, I don't have access to him Fridays or Sundays.
Okay. And then
Hey-
like I don't want to get too personal with his business, but as far as like what's his like age range and like is he high school, college? I mean, do you get where I'm trying to kind of ask? Like, is it kind of just looking for a little side money so he can party, or I mean that's got to be what it what is it?
Serious. Yeah, he's very serious about inflatables. He's very young,
Okay.
but he's very serious about inflatables.
Okay.
And he does a bang up job. I gotta slow him down sometimes. He moves too fast sometimes. But
Okay. So he's just young kid trying to make some money. Doing a good job at whatever he does. Okay.
yes, I've always looked past age
Mm-hmm.
in lieu of maturity and
Yeah.
ability. I will
Yeah.
give the young and this has burned me in my corporate life, right? But I
Mhm.
will give the young kid who's ambitious and smart and driven and capable
Yeah.
shot to go be something at an early age.
Yeah.
Because somebody did that for me and I flourished.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm kind of the opposite because like I played football in high school and it was a jam up. And like he always called it like an organization or something like that. But I busted my ass for, a football team, and it never led me anywhere. He was just trying to, get all of his players. Like he just wanted us basically like hound dogs, type deal. But not to, stretch it out. So I just kind of wonder like how you, find your crew and just finding young kids, especially nowadays, couple years ago, it's a lot easier to find people that are willing to work. But nowadays, it's just, it's half and half. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, I don't know. It's always been hard, in my opinion. I love millennials more than anybody. Everybody banged on millennials. They were my favorite. They were my absolute favorite. Gen Z, I connect very well with Gen Z. The trends move too fast. I always sound like the old guy. But I love Gen Z kids, and I love millennials a lot, and I've had nothing but great things to say about both generations.
hey, is that guy Zach still on?
Down here.
Fred,
Hey, what's up? Hey, Zach. So you're a firefighter? Is that what you do?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you do Christmas lights at all? Because a ton of firefighters do Christmas lights.
So I've actually been talking to Nick about that. And I actually spoke with him not so long ago in the same kind of concept. Like the guy that stays with me or that's talking about staying with me, I talked to him about doing Christmas lights. He said he was in if we could get it going. So I've been kind of going back and forth about it. I'm thinking about going to the training in September. The biggest thing that bothers me is, again, with me being full time here, I work 24 on, 48 off. So I'm off, 2 out of every 3 days. So the winter time is kind of my downtime. And
You there?
no,
Yeah, we-
he's not. His phone died or something. He
Yeah.
So what I was trying to, the thing is, if he's trying to grow his business, he doesn't need his bounce house business. He'll keep his stable employees if he adds an add-on business. You guys there?
He's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he stays open and stops having his downtime, he'll be able to keep his employees so they don't have to start over every year.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry, I lost y'all. But anyway, like I was saying, we're looking at doing that. Kind of nervous because it'd be our first time. The other thing is talking about the pricing. I went over the pricing with Nick, and it's probably just me, like the same way I was with the inflatables. Christmas lights are kind of a big deal around here, but most the town that I'm in is not a very wealthy town, I guess, if that makes any sense. So it's hard for me to believe that people would pay as much as it would cost to do the decorations. I know there's some.
You're not your customer. You're not going to hire people
Right.
that are you are not working class people generally. They're going to
Right.
be people that their houses are too big. They're not getting on a ladder to do it. So they make, like I've heard the guy that taught me said, look, they count their hundred, or they count their hundreds like we count our pennies. So that's the type of, you're going to get, there's people out there that just make ridiculous amounts of money. And so you think it's a big dollar you're giving to them, big estimate, and they're like, oh, when can you start? So, I mean, it's a high, for me. I mean, I only close maybe 1 out of 10 estimates, but I don't need the work. So when I was newer and I was just trying to get my foot in the door, I was a lot cheaper, and I would get maybe 1 out of 3 estimates. But your first year, you're not going to get slam busy. It just doesn't happen that way in Christmas lights, but you'll get the experience so that you can make it big your second year. But the biggest thing, if you already have a stable company year round, a lot of people get into Christmas lights just because they don't like, if you, good businesses are built out the backs of good employees. So a good employee is not going to stay around for a company that doesn't have consistent work and lets them go for a couple months every year. So a lot of people get into Christmas lights just because they need to keep their employees busy in the winter. But what they found, a lot of businesses have found, what used to be their slowest time of the year now becomes their busiest time of the year. And it actually, if you've been doing Christmas lights for a few years, not only does it become your slowest part now to your busiest part, but you develop systems now to deal with the stress load of having a busy season now that helps you grow your business the rest of the year, because you find the cracks in your systems really easily in Christmas lights, because it will put all your systems to a stress test. Not your first year, because you're going to be learning how to do it. But once people in your city start to see you do it, they're going to be, a lot of people will be sticker shocked and not go for it probably the first year. But once they see it, and then it just becomes in the culture. Like, I was one of the first people in my city doing it, and everyone thought I was outrageous, but just the rich people wanted it. And so they started passing me my name around to other rich people. And so I don't even do much marketing anymore. But I mean, I wouldn't be scared that you're going to be slam busy your first year. It's probably not going to happen. So, and it's real easy to stop that. You just raise your prices. So, but if you can get 5 to 10 jobs your first year, that will get you to see that people are willing to pay it. I wouldn't expect to make 6 figures your first year. I mean, that can happen, but it's usually for people that are in really populated areas that does happen for. But it's the thing about stable business that people come back every year and they bring their friends. So I've never seen a business like this. But it really does help out businesses that don't want to lose their employees in the winter. But the thing is, it's really consistent. For about the month of November, you're going to have a lot of work, and then it's just done. And then you got to take it down again in January, which they come down. I mean, a lot of houses we take down the lights, we don't even pull a ladder off the truck. So it takes 5-10 minutes to take the job down that took 2 hours to put up. So takedowns, it just gives my guys something extra to do. So I don't know if I'm talking about a bunch of stuff you don't really want to hear, but for me, it's been a great business. I used to do bounce houses back like 10 years ago. That was my first business. I'm an entrepreneur. My brother said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I got too many ideas all the time. I start all these different businesses. But the reason I'm still in Christmas lights is because it just it grows every year, and you don't have to put much effort into it. So the first year, it didn't seem like much to me, because I was just dipping my toes in. I didn't realize people were willing to pay this kind of money. But yeah, as the longer I was doing it, the more I started getting more aggressive, because I was like, I don't make this kind of money doing anything else. Like, people get really crazy about it's an emotional sale, which I think bounce house is a little bit of an emotional sale, but Christmas lights is even more. It's like they just want it because they want something good for their family for the holidays. So they spend a lot more money. I mean, it's people like to have a good holiday for their family, so they're willing to spend above and beyond even what they're really comfortable for that time of year. Even if they've been having a rough year, sometimes they're going to go out and spend extra on the holidays. So
yeah, a lady hugged me with tears in her eyes and gave me a $3,500 check. Like,
for what kind of setup?
In her eyes.
What kind of setup?
Just it's a mansion. Just a house. Just the ridge lights.
Yeah, you're going to go into houses where they got gate codes to get in and stuff. I mean, I drive up to houses. I don't even know that. I was like, where do these people come from? Like, where do they make their money? There's people in your community that make way more money. Are you getting called out?
Yeah, you get a call. Thank you. I'll get with y'all later on.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, guys.
Yeah, there's a ton of firefighters that do Christmas lights.
For sure. I mean, it's perfect. I was trying to recruit firefighters last year. We were getting so busy, like we couldn't even handle the workload that was coming in on the back of my terrible Facebook ad that I had up, but it was just crushing it. And I was trying to recruit firefighters left and right.
What to install for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, firefighters, they're not usually scared of heights. So they seem, I mean, all across the country, we have so many firefighters that put up Christmas lights. It's like a culture for firefighters.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, bro, you seem like a pretty, like a badass dog. I appreciate your service. I don't know if he can hear me right now, but it looks like it, they're going out. Cause that was actually like my plan D, and it never kind of worked out. So, but that's pretty cool. Just to give praise to him.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, if any of you guys are interested in doing Christmas lights, we got a training that's going on in my neck of the woods on September 30th. Tickets are $800. I think we're just going to keep them at $800. Feels like the right amount of money.
You said 8?
Yep, 800.
I could have. Well,
What
I
time
was
is
thinking.
it?
What?
What's that?
What do you say, Janice?
I said, what time is it? I need to put that on my schedule so I know when I'm gonna do my traveling.
Fly in the day before, spend the night in New Orleans, have a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun. New Orleans can be dangerous. And then come in and then drive in the next morning.
So it's from what 8 to 5 or something like that.
Yeah, it'll be close to that. It'll be all day, quote unquote, all day.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're good. I sure appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll call you. I got your voicemail. I was busy the other day, and then it's still on my to-do list. So I'll call you tomorrow, though. I promise.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna end this puppy so I can jump over into Tariq's live. I really want to get in there. He's doing how to survive the off season. I'm not 100% sure. It'll be on Facebook for sure. The link. I don't have it. I wish I had. I wish I would have saved it, but I don't have it. But anyways, I would suggest you jump in there because Tariq's a good dude. And Fred, I think he posted that in one of the Bounce House groups. Maybe I can send it to you. But that is going to be Christmas Light City in there. As soon as I pop in there, everybody's going to be going nutso about Christmas lights.
Yeah, if you can send me the link, yeah, I'll try to hop on. If they don't want to hear about it, I don't want to like talk about stuff that's not they're down their avenue. But yeah, if they're interested, I'll be talking about it.
Tariq sent me a message specifically. It was like, hey, I just want to make sure you're going to be on this. Like, I got my live show today too, but I'll be there. I just didn't know when. But I'll see. I'll as soon as I get the link to jump into his Zoom, I'll text it to you.
Yes, awesome. All right, thank you.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you, everybody. That was a good show. That was episode 4. That was a great one. So I'm going to end this now. You guys do all the things. Like, subscribe if you're still listening on YouTube and the podcast. Like, subscribe. Otherwise, I'm jumping into Tariq. So thank you. Peace.